Alright, hello everybody, and welcome to another video of Green Square Talks Battlebots. I'm here with the episode 6 review, co-hosting here. I'm in the green square, right in the top middle. Over to my right is Pory, and down below on the left side we have Civilian Arc, and on the right side there, Spin Doctor has returned for another podcast. So, how's it going, everyone?
I
Yeah.
finally came back.
Shout out to
Yeah,
Spin though.
we missed you, Spin.
Yeah, and now your camera's up, Civilian.
Just finished eating dinner.
Yep.
No, you look like an Atari game. Oh wait, no, it's loading. Never mind, we're good.
Think we'll see Civilian Arc eat another stick of deodorant on a podcast.
Yeah, probably.
Uh, Green Square Talks
That's
Battlebots funny moments. That's at least in the top 3. But
a
Family
compilation
Guy
of just
funny
the
moment.
stupidest Green Square moments ever. Like, stupidest Green Square podcast moments ever.
sure. But anyway, we're here with the episode 6 review, where with the plan is to discuss all 8 of these fights one by one, and then we have power rankings to show off at the end, as we usually do, and so on. And yeah, this should definitely be a fun podcast. I think let's just go ahead and get to the first one. But before we do that, I'll let you know that the next Battlebots questionnaire is coming up soon. The plan is to do that the episode before episode 10, as it's revealed on the website. The episode 10 is the last regular season episode, and well, at least for the opening round before we get to the top 32 and stuff. But
Yeah.
the plan is to do a questionnaire the week before that. So if you're viewing this and you have something you'd like us to talk about, something you want to ask, reply down in the comments or DM me or something like that on Instagram. In the green square is my user there for that. Same thing with this. So and so on. All right, let's go ahead and get to the first match. All right, we have Black Dragon and Rotator for the first one, and this one was one, like I mentioned this in the prediction podcast, I was expecting this to be a main event because like these are two like high tiered robots taking on each other,
Oh yeah.
and yeah, this would definitely be a main event worthy fight in my opinion. But this ended up getting the lead off, and yeah, I felt it was a really solid fight. It was my favorite fight of the episode personally. I know a few of the others here disagreed with that, but I loved it anyway. But yeah, I'll go ahead and leave the floor to you three on this one. What do you
Good
guys? What
fight.
do you three
It
got
was
on
a
this one?
good fight.
Was that Spin?
It was a good fight. I liked it.
Okay. Well, since we only see Pory's dog on cam right now, I guess I'll speak. Okay, so I'm gonna go full on hot take here. This was in my okay. This isn't a bad fight necessarily, but I certainly don't recognize it as like a good fight. So like these are like Green said, these are two like top tier robots. Like we got like a bot that made semifinals last season, and we got a bot that was debatably the best round of 16 exit of last season. This kind of just like ended up being kind of a weak fight for me. I don't know what it was, but like a lot of the shots in it just honestly didn't really feel all that amazing to me. Like Black Dragon setting itself on fire is kind of fun, I guess, but like and like I'm sure a lot of people like fights just cuz like ooh fire and shit. And if you do, that's fine, but I mean, personally, I don't like my fucking icing on cake to be sweet as shit, you know? There was a fire at my school the other day and it wasn't very 55th Street, but in my opinion, like I will give Victor Soto credit. He probably did do a great driving game here. He definitely played this as solid as he could have. But in in trade for that, it made for a kind of weak opening fight between two robots that are considered top tier robots. Like if this was like two mid tier opponents, then like I'd probably say this is a E plus fight. But what the fuck?
What's that,
But
Pory?
yeah, this
What?
fight was
Is that like a
this fight
sparkler
was
or what was that? Or...
Incense.
Oh. Oh, gotcha.
Yeah, but in my opinion, this fight just didn't do it for me. So yeah.
Okay, let me defend
I
it.
thought it was a good
Let
fight.
me defend
Yeah,
this
you
fight.
do,
Real.
Sam.
I love this fight. It was a fun fight. We didn't get any massive shots, and I personally, I just really like this fight because you see a robot do the thing it was intended to do. It uses forks and it's horizontal at the same time. It got under Black Dragon. It controlled it. It used the hammers, and it also got in shots with its horizontal. It was just really great to see. And then it doesn't like I don't really care about the fire, to be honest. I just really enjoyed seeing just perfect execution by Rotator. He didn't get the KO, but he did get some good shots in.
What do you got,
Yeah,
Pory?
I agree. I feel the same way. I thought it was a very fun fight. I mean, they're both very good robots. You got Black Dragon, who made the semifinals. You got Rotator, who should have beat Endgame. You got really good robots, and you had all sorts of really good hits. You had very good tactical driving. I mean, yeah, it wasn't like super stunning to see Rotator use its forks on Black Dragon, but it worked. Their strat worked, and here's the thing that really impressed me: Rotator is even though it wasn't a KO victory, Rotator is the first robot to kill Black Dragon, which is very, very impressive. That Rotator is a monster, and if somehow Ribot doesn't win the championship, which they will, then Rotator or Sawblaze is my pick for the Giant Nut.
Yeah. Yeah, and yeah, as Pory said, when around 5 seconds hit, Rotator got a hit in, and it looked like it killed Drive on Black Dragon and stuff, as we didn't see movement throughout the last few seconds. But in terms of my analysis for this one, this was an excellent showing from both robots, in my opinion. Like, this was an all-out driving battle between them, because
Yeah,
well driven by both teams, in my opinion. Because we saw Rotator constantly getting underneath Black Dragon with the forks. A few times Black Dragon backed off and charged in there at an angle to avoid the forks and clip the sides of Rotator, which worked out for them a few times. But then eventually they caught fire once again. It wasn't as big as the one from the Ribot fight, unfortunately, but it was still an epic showing, including when Black Dragon did catch fire, that last hit they got in before their weapon was stopped. That was the biggest hit of the match, in my opinion, where they sent Rotator onto their side and pushed them right into the rails and so on.
yeah,
Like,
that
that
was a
was
fun
such
hit.
a great moment. But I loved this fight. Like, as I said, this was my favorite fight of the entire episode, even though I know a few people disagree with that, which there were some other epic fights in here. I completely understand that
Yeah.
and so on. But yeah. So now my next question, my final question on this one is, well, this is a two-part question. What do you think about the judge's decision? Because I have heard in Discord servers and some activity in Facebook and Instagram that there is some disagreement with this decision. And the other thing is, what do you think these two standings are for the top 32 right now? Since both of them are 2 fights in, Rotator at 2-0 and Black Dragon at 1-1 right now.
Yeah, so I agreed with the decision. I don't see how you couldn't. I mean, Black Dragon had a lot of good moments, sure, but Rotator 100% won that fight. As for top 32, Rotator is 100% in. Rotator's in. They're probably going to get like a top 5 seed, in my opinion, unless they really screw up fight number 3. And Black Dragon is most likely in. I think fight number 3 will determine if they get a high seed or a low seed. They'll probably get a mid seed realistically, even if they go 1 and 2. But I think it just really depends on their third fight. But I think they're both pretty much locks at this point.
Whichever
Okay,
one
I'll
of you
just
two
go.
can go
I'll
next.
just go ahead. So Rotator, I think, is gonna get like a top 8 seed unless both their opponents don't do well. I'm blanking on who Rotator fought first right now, but
Kraken.
Kraken.
Kraken. Oh, well, I think they're gonna get a top 16 seed. But they've been really impressive. It's just that their opponents aren't doing so well. But I like their chances right now. Black Dragon, on the other hand, they're gonna get in, but I'm not sure how high. I mean, the first fight was good, but I'm not sure how Ice Wave is just going to do in the season. Their second fight, not quite good. It's just they really didn't really get to do much, you know?
I'd argue
Yeah.
it was a good loss, though.
Yeah, it was definitely a good loss. They just couldn't really prove themselves at all during this fight, other than it can take lots of hits.
Yeah.
In terms of what I think of the decision, if and this didn't happen, but if Black Dragon didn't get immobilized by the end of the fight, I might have agreed with people saying that Rotator should have won. I mean, Rotator shouldn't have won. But the fact of the matter is that Rotator did immobilize Black Dragon at the end, and not only that, it also gave out a flurry of shots. But if Black Dragon did manage to survive to the end, I might have I might have gone for Rotator still, but it would have been like much more split down the middle than it. But probably
Yeah.
score this fight like 4-1 on damage, two to wait, a 2-1 on control for Rotator. Aggression, I might go 2-1 for Black Dragon probably. So
Fair.
I would have gone Rotator in every category. Like, I don't think Black Dragon did enough to win in either.
and I think Black Dragon did enough to get 2 aggression points. Now, as for terms of top 32, they're both in, but if Black Dragon gets a 1 and 2, I don't think it should be in my opinion. Because Ice Wave fight win wasn't like the strongest of wins out there. It was kind of like if like 1 or 2 shots, then Black Dragon deciding to act like an Robot Rumble 2 bot and just sniping an ESC when it's under the bot. Yes, I know that's not what happened. I'm just memeing. But and this was an okay loss for Black Dragon, but I still feel like they need to prove themselves a bit in their third and final fight, whoever that is. Um as for Rotator, they're definitely in. Like I feel like
Yeah.
any 2-1 bot is in probably. At least that's how it should
Hopefully.
go. Hopefully we don't have a P1 moment. But I feel like currently I'd say Rotator's probably like a top 10 seed. I don't think it's top 5 seed yet, just because there's like other 2-0 that have impressed me much more so far. But I feel like if Rotator does good in his third fight, I could see a top 5 seed.
Yeah.
That's fair.
In terms of the decision right now, I agreed with that decision. I felt Rotator had that, even though I think one of the Brazilian bots is going to win it all this season.
Okay.
Yeah. But in terms of damage, I scored that 4-1 for Rotator. Rotator clearly did more damage than Black Dragon in that one, and the fact that Black Dragon is on fire for like half the fight and they lost drive at the end is really what confirms that. But I would give Black Dragon credit for some of the shots they did get in before their weapon system caught fire, which is why I would give them a point. In terms of aggression, I'm going 2-1 Black Dragon because I felt Black Dragon was a
That's base.
little more aggressive in this one, but it was really close. I could see why Spin would make the argument for Rotator winning that category too. And then Control, this one was the hardest one to call in my opinion because I felt it was relatively even throughout the match. I settled on 2-1 Rotator, but even if I went 2-1 Black Dragon, Rotator would still have the decision if I was a judge. So
Yeah.
and then in terms of the top 32, I think Rotator's in. I think they're a top 5 seed if they win their next fight. I don't know who it is. It's not publicly known. I haven't even heard any rumors on what it
I
is.
haven't either.
And but I imagine it's going to be a big one and stuff.
Another thing to take into account for Rotator seeding, they have no KOs so far. Like, that's actually a big thing in seeding, because, like, you
Yeah,
can, like, be super impressive, but, like, no KOs is something. Like,
no
that's something that you
KOs.
take into account.
That's true.
Yeah,
Yeah.
But yeah, I would still give them a top 5
Well,
seed
yeah,
if they do. But and then in terms of Black
Whichever.
Dragon, I think they're also in as well. But I think I think they're in unless if they botch their next fight completely. Like whoever
Yeah.
is like like if they take a good to mid-tier loss, I think they'll still get in barely, because like this was a good loss in my opinion, and the Ice Wave fight was a
Yeah.
quality win in my opinion, even if
I
Civilian Arc
agree.
says the opposite, which that's fine. It's his opinion. But but yeah, I think Black Dragon's in because of their quality of opponents and so far, and the quality of their fights so far. But who knows?
I will
Yeah.
say, in response to what Spin said a few minutes ago, Hydra got the 1 seed and it didn't get a single KO, even though it shouldn't have been the 1 seed last season.
Favoritism. Oh, I'm sick. Sorry.
Well, like Hydra has an impressive resume too. That's another thing. Like right now, Rotator has fought 0-2 Kraken and 1-1 Black Dragon.
I'd say
'Cause, like-
Kraken and Black Dragon is a pretty good resume. Like, I mean,
They're
you got
good bots.
one of the
but, like,
you got one of the
mean,
most
Hydra went 1 and 2 though, and Witch Doctor went 1 and 2. Like Hydra's opponents had pretty subpar records as well. Besides, I guess Uppercut had a good record, but like Hydra faced good bots, but by that criteria, they did face robots with fairly losing records. And realistically, I'd be surprised if Black Dragon loses fight 3. You know,
Yeah, but
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 you know who would beat Rotator
no,
fucking wouldn't.
no, I disagree
all
with
day,
that.
every day, all day, every
I
day.
think Rotator
Deadlift
and
is
Black
going
Dragon
all
would
right.
both beat Deadlift.
No
Yeah, they
shot.
got
I
him.
would be, Deadlift would beat them both at the same time. Deadlift like won the arena in this fight, like you know, like Sir Kill-A-Lot in a rumble or something, like just middle of the fight, like running in. I feel like Deadlift would obliterate both of them. You know, like just
Well, Rotator did
kinda
beat
about
Jackpot,
this.
who beat Deadlift, so
Deadlift beat
no.
Jackpot.
I'm gonna say that
And Deadlift did beat Jackpot, so I mean,
we'd
we
win.
tied
We'd
1-1.
win in round 3, though. Oh,
You're a funny guy, Green. You're really a funny. You're a
Or
comedian.
you're such a special little snowflake thinking
This
that
guy's
Deadlift
a-
would
this-
win round 3.
This guy's such a joker.
whatever. Anyway, let's go ahead and get on to the next fight. So now we got Lucky and Blade for this one, and yeah, this was actually the only image I could find, to be honest. But who cares?
Pory.
Painful image.
But yeah, Lucky
Or
came
you
out with a
absolute weirdo.
plow up front in order to provide some extra defense against Blade's horizontal spinner, and well, Blade came in with their 60-pound aluminum spinner, and this one got a little interesting very early into it. So let's go ahead and hear from you three then before I give my little analysis.
Okay, so besides the phallus in the image, a few things I want to say. I'm really sad that Blade lost because Blade's on my fantasy team and I had very high hopes for them. But that said, Lucky's a freaking monster. Like they're incredible this year. Like they had that really good performance early on with Tantrum, and this win was just fiery. Like it was, they were on top. Second thing I want to say, every time I see this version of Lucky, I see Double Jeopardy.
Okay, me too. Me
Oh
too.
man, that's kind of
Yeah,
crazy. It's
just-
true.
Damn.
It looks like Double Jeopardy, but that new driver, that guy, that like RC champion guy they got driving for Lucky, he's like the real deal. I hope that guy sticks with robot combat because that guy could have a serious future ahead of him. But there's not really much more to say because it was like a
Yeah.
40-second fight.
This was
This-
kind of
this-
just
this
like
might-
a. This is kind of just like a. It was a good performance by Lucky, although I think part of it, I think Orby hit the wall and that caused its blade to get.
They
Yes.
did.
Yep.
Yeah.
So I mean, I don't know. Maybe Lucky could still withstand the shots regardless, but I mean, I feel like.
Well,
Yeah, I do
they
agree
did
that
take
you're
they did take a hit, but
Yeah, like that, hold in the wedge
basically
right
they
there.
took a hit right on the plow, and the recoil from that shot sent Blade right into the wall with their weapon at full speed, and that's what broke the weapon.
Yeah, I mean, even in that image, you can see that there's a hole in its pile from where Orby hit it.
Yeah, that's why I
Yeah.
didn't exactly. Because I saw this image right before the fight, and I didn't want to believe it, but it kind of brought me vibes that Blade broke in that one.
Yeah, and it's a shame because
Yeah.
I had high hopes for Blade, and no, I mean, but now I have high hopes for Lucky, so it is what it is.
Damn true.
All right, keep going, Civilian Arc or Spin
This was
Doctor.
just such a painful one for me because there's just so much potential and just for this to be a good fight, and then Orby just breaks instantly, and then it was just thrown onto the little side area on the side of the arena, and it's just really sad to watch because I had such high hopes for Orby. They're my top 5 rookie here, and then just see this happen to them. Now they're 0-2 after getting Scorpios in the first fight. That was just not good for them.
Yeah.
Yeah, so in terms of this analysis, like Pory said, I think Lucky is the real deal. It's kind of crazy how much a good driver can change things. I'm not saying Mark Demers or any of the past Lucky drivers, including when they had Gary Jin driving it, were bad and stuff, but yeah, like what Pory said, this guy is the real deal for Lucky. That was an amazing driving performance from him, hands down.
Yeah.
Lucky
From
came
what
out
I
of that.
hear,
Lucky came out of that with looked like to be minimal damage and stuff, because they did take a
Mhm.
chip in the plow, which yeah they signed and gave to the Orby team based off of what it looked like. But yeah, great stuff. And then in terms of the
Yeah.
Blade, I kind of have a hot take on this on what happened there, which this is not confirmed, but I kind of wonder if the aluminum that Blade used in that weapon was a bad batch of aluminum, and that's why it broke so easily and stuff. Cause for example, Yeti's drum spinner is made out of aluminum, and then I want to get this thing up. We're gonna get out the side armor piece from Deadlift, isn't that? Yeah, because you see all these aluminum chunks taken out of it from Jackpot's spinner and stuff, because aluminum is a metal where it's easy to machine and cheap and basically, but then it's really easy to tear into it and break it and stuff. But aluminum is typically, I feel like aluminum is tough enough to where it could take a hit from the sidewalls or something like that, and not break that easily. If you kind of get what I'm talking about there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what kind of leads me to think, was this a bad batch of aluminum that Blade got in that one, and that's why it broke so easily, similar to what happened to Bronco's flipper in the free shipping fight, as well as
Mhm.
Sidewinder's weapon system in the Scorpios fight, where both of those were just bad batches of material. Even Witch Doctor's weapon discs from last season too, but
The Witch Doctors were just hardened too much.
those were also
But
yeah, those were hardened too much, but either way,
Gigabyte
though, I
stable.
can't wait to see the damage report by Blade
yeah,
for this
because
one,
they do good
just
ones.
to hear what exactly happened. But that's my guess in terms of what
So do
happened.
you not have the damage report yet?
No, have not. The only robot I think I've seen a damage report from so far is Kraken.
Really? I thought I saw a Blade damage report somewhere.
They did not post a damage report yet.
I know
No.
they posted a damage report from the Scorpios fight. I don't know
Yeah.
if that's what you're talking about, but I haven't seen one from this
Wait.
fight yet. But
They posted the Scorpios one a few days after, so they'll probably post it
yeah,
tomorrow or
probably.
something.
But
I might look for the link because I'm pretty sure I
I
saw
just checked their
report.
page right now and it's not on there.
yeah,
Because I was thinking that too.
in general, I hope Blade comes back from this. I want to see Blade get a few wins and stuff, because I
I do,
love the
too.
robot and the fantastic and King of Bots, and was one robot I was super hyped to get to see at Battlebots. I don't know what their third fight is, but we know they're fighting Kraken at some point. I don't think that's their third fight based off of some of the other things I've heard, but who knows? Anyway,
We'll see.
yeah,
But
yeah.
one thing that's a positive, the new driver of Lucky, from what I've heard, he seems to be really into BattleBots now. So that's a good thing. So now we got a potential top tier driver in the game, and it's always cool to see. And it's always cool to see that Lucky after how many seasons have they partaken in now?
Yeah, I
4?
think 3. No, Yeah, 3.
2, 3, 4.
Well, this is their
and then
4th,
6.
so
This is their 4th, yeah. So after that, we're finally seeing what Lucky could have been. We're seeing their potential finally. That's pretty awesome.
yeah, definitely. Like I said, it's great to see how much a better driver can change the whole thing. Because like Lucky's always been a tank, but I felt the driving of it can be a little off at points. Like I'm not dissing any of the
yeah.
drivers that Lucky has had. Like that's absolutely false. That Lucky he lost several of their fights the past few seasons because of poor driving. Like that's not it one bit. But yeah, gotta love the driving ability that their new driver has. Like top RC
Yeah.
driver, perfect for a robot like Lucky
That-
and stuff.
That's how Gary Jin got his start. Gary
Yup,
Jin,
that
I'm
too.
pretty sure originally was an RC driver.
Yeah, yeah. If that is the case, that's very true. So
Yeah.
all right, probably enough with that. Let's go ahead and get on to the next fight.
We can't hear you, Green.
All right, so now we got Minotaur and Dragon Slayer, the return of my first round pick in King of Draft. After and really bouncing back after taking a tough loss to Sawblaze, who is looking one of the best so far in the competition. Their opponent was Dragon Slayer, where in the previous episode they wiped the floor with Duck using that vertical spinner that showed some potential in my
Rolled
opinion.
duck.
So yeah, but yeah, I gotta admit that like I know Pory was talking about this too, but I teared up during the Daniel Freitas tragedy moment.
Yeah.
Like,
So did I.
yeah, Civilian
It,
too. I don't
it
know
was
about
sad.
Spin.
It hit me.
Yeah,
Spin, did you cry?
yeah.
Spin disappeared.
No, I did not cry. I'm too tough to cry.
Did you tear up?
Wow.
Yes, I did. But
right,
I'm
Base.
too tough to cry.
That
Never cried once
that
in my
works.
life.
Yeah,
Okay.
let's go ahead and hear from you three. You three got in this fight.
This fight was a
I'll go
blur.
first. Yeah.
It just kind of happened. Like I've seen it twice already, and I don't really remember it at all.
This was kind of just like a Minotaur fight, I guess, because like Minotaur just like bodying a bot, and that's about it. But like, I don't see why they would give Minotaur a bot like Dragon Slayer for its second opponent, except for giving Minotaur them free dubs so it can
I
get
mean,
into the postseason.
remember in season 3 when Minotaur lost to Tombstone and it proceeded to fight Hypothermia, Sub-Zero, and Blacksmith again. I mean, not surprising.
I understand Minotaur's a fan favorite, but why do they feed it like this? There are other fan favorites that get fed easier matches, but like Minotaur gets like the bottom bottom of the barrel easy matchups.
I mean, I don't think he's the bottom of the barrel.
1-0 at the time.
Oh, Ribot seems to be getting more bottom of the barrel right now.
Look here. No, you look here. You look here, you favela. I want to hear it.
No.
Ribot's going all the way. They're gonna make They're gonna make the round of 32. They're gonna make round 16. They're gonna go all the way. They're gonna win the giant nut. We're going all the way. We'll beat those high tier bots later on, and then we'll rub it in your face. And then when you like. By the time the top like 4 happens and suddenly you're like, I was betting on Ribot the whole time, then we will all be part of the Ribot rabble and we will go all the way.
What's your intel on this fight, Pory?
Here's who Ribot is
the
fighting.
damage reporting Shad.
Ribot fought Defender, brother bot of the finalists from last year, and they have fought a former quarterfinalist, a former surprise quarterfinalist, just like Ribot. All right,
that should have been the runner-up.
Even, but I see some sort of justification here. This one is just a straight up murder, man. They just want to feed.
Yeah, but at least Minotaur got a fight with Sawblaze first before anything. Like Minotaur literally, like Ribot literally got like a rookie bot, and then bot that hasn't done well at all since season 1.
I feel like
Witch Doctor's first fight was Duck. What are you talking about?
Yeah, and then it proceeded to get endgame.
Really hyped up before the season, and Defender is also made by the same team that made the finals last year. Like, they're a rookie bot, but they're on the higher end. Like they would like defenders this type of bot to start with like an A tier or B tier opponent for their first fight.
Well, here's the thing about that, in my opinion. I don't think you should really judge a rookie based on like if they were on a former team or not, or something, or if they're like teamed up with other teams. Like a huge example of this would be something like Perfect Phoenix, where we're getting mentored by Ray Billings and Tombstone and shit, and then it does decent, makes postseason, loses to the 2020 semifinalist, no shame there. Uh, and then loses to Big Dick.
2020 champ, what? It lost
Nah,
to Endgame.
Tantrum beat it. Nah,
No, it
Tantrum
lost to
beat it,
Endgame.
buddy. Tantrum,
Wait, are you talking about
Tantrum
Perfect
beat
Phoenix?
Endgame. Tantrum beat
Oh,
Endgame,
oh,
buddy.
oh
We
yeah,
all
okay.
know.
So
We all saw it.
civilians misremembering things because he predicted that fight wrong. But yeah, I mean, yeah, but still, like Perfect Phoenix still was a robot that I think, but also I think Perfect Phoenix, like, I don't want to say they were also fed easy wins, even though they kind of were. Um, but then again, Perfect Phoenix's matches made sense because like Extinguisher was because it was like, oh, the two youngest captains fighting. Scorpios was a fair matchup at that point, and then Adam 94 was like, oh, these are both Ray's proteges, you know. So I get it.
All
But
right,
we go.
I'll go ahead and get to my analysis of this, but this
Yeah.
matchup did make a little more sense to me than I think what you three are thinking and stuff. Like, I do agree that Minotaur is kind of being fed like a little bit of an easy opponent, but I don't think it's as much as you think, because like Dragon Slayer came out of taking out Duck, who is known as one of the toughest machines so far,
It was being controlled by
like
Duck.
and like
Nothing
and
was
like
the argument.
oh my
Duck
gosh.
is like the shittiest
No,
robot.
go ahead, Green. I'm sorry.
Like Duck is still a reasonable tiered opponent, and Civilian, I don't care how you reply to that. Like based off of their history and so on. But
I mean,
it felt reasonable to give Dragon Slayer like a higher tiered opponent and stuff, but still. And then, yeah, in terms of the fight analysis here, I haven't seen a damage report from Dragon Slayer, but we did see their weapon die after the first weapon-on-weapon hit in this one, and Minotaur
yeah.
backed off to get their weapon up to full speed, then came in for more hits and did quite a bit of damage to especially the front wedge and some of the wheels and so on. But I personally feel with Minotaur, I think there might be a few gremlins still there with the weapon because like how do I explain this? Basically like we'd see Minotaur get their drum spinner up to full speed, they'd come in for a hit like it was very easy to like get it to stop spinning then immediately, where they'd have to back off and spin it up again and stuff. Like I'm kind of describing like an issue Lockjaw kind of seemed to have with the fight with Captain Shredderator last season. I'm probably explaining that poorly, but that's probably the best I could do, and so on. But
No, I know what you mean.
yeah. Like that might be something I feel Minotaur might need to figure out, assuming what I was talking about is accurate before their third fight. But we'll find out,
Yeah.
and who
Yeah.
knows who Minotaur will get for that one. Hopefully, it's another high tiered opponent like Sawblaze was and stuff.
We can
And
fight Sawblaze again.
yeah, sure, we'll take on Sawblaze again, because that was a banger of a fight in my opinion. I'd love to see those
There
two fight
was.
again. And
Oh.
okay, now so then for the last question of this one is add Lucky and Orby to this as well, because I forgot to ask about that. What do you think those 4 robot standings are for the top 32 right now?
Okay, so Orby and Dragon Slayer, unless they Orby, I think Orby's out, straight up. Unfortunately, it depresses me, pain. But Orby's out. Dragon Slayer is out unless they get a win next match. But I'm not sure if they can because I don't know. I'm just not sold on them yet. I want them to succeed, and I am looking forward to the revision that they have planned. If they get accepted, that would be wonderful. Let's see. I want to see that weapon hit. I want to see the potential reach. As for Minotaur and Lucky. I think Lucky is in unless they screw up their next fight. And Minotaur, I think, is in even if they do screw up their next fight. But yeah, I think they're good to go.
Okay, so where I stand is Minotaur, definitely in. No way they do the top 32 without Minotaur.
Yeah.
Orby, I also think is out. I think if you go 0-2, you're out unless you're a favorite and you get like a really good matchup. Like say Kraken beats some some 2-0 bot right now. Like they would get in because favoritism and they beat the thing. Dragon Slayer, I am not too sure about them. So, I think they have the chance of getting another win, but what I see more likely happening is they get another win, but it's not strong, and they get P1'd out of the top 32, or they just get fed another like top tier bot, or just like another bot who the Battlebots wants in more than Dragon Slayer. And Lucky, I think they're gonna get in. I think they're gonna show up to the third fight and just clean house. I think not like as in they do super well, but they're just gonna get a win, and they're just in because 2-1, they're impressive, and BattleBoss likes them.
Okay, so I'll just go to the winners of the last two fights and to the. Actually, I'll do losers first. Sure, why not? So Dragon Slayer. It all depends on their last fight. Right now, I'd say they're not in. They're an insanely weak 1-1 right now. Lost to one of the worst bots in this field, and well, no, beat one of the worst bots in the field. Not
I was
win it.
gonna say, I'm like, wait a minute.
Yeah, I was about to fucking get
Green
reamed.
was about to ban you.
Yeah, Green was about to fucking come to Arizona and slaughter me.
No, I don't have the time for that.
Uh,
Oh,
wow, don't got enough time for me. Okay, Orby Blade. Here's the thing. I feel like out of the top 32, I'm gonna say there's gonna be like 4 to 6 1-2s that make postseason. I feel like out of those 4 to 6 1-2s, there will be about two bots that have started their season 0-2. I don't think that one of them will be Orby though, unfortunately, since neither of its neither of its losses have been really impressive that much. Because like it got fucking bodied by Scorpios, and then it got
body
fucking it got promptly blasted by Lucky. So I don't think it's making it. Um, as for the winners, Lucky, I'd say unless they really fuck up their third fight, they should in theory get in. Cause, I mean, they did well against Orby Blade, and they lost to the 2021 champ, so no shame there.
It's a ribot. What are
Okay.
you?
Spin, who would win in a fight, Tantrum or Ribot?
It really depends on the configurations. I'm gonna lean Tantrum,
Face,
but
that
I
shit's
think give
face.
Ribot victory.
Green, ban this man from your podcast.
If Ribot goes
Uh,
horizontal, I think they would win. That's a hot take though.
Okay, so as for Minotaur, I think they're in regardless because favoritism. Uh, yeah, I think even if they go 1-2, I think we know their third fight. Or it's not
It's not
public.
public.
We've heard
Not
rumors about it.
Oh, rumors. Okay, but I mean, even if Minotaur does lose its third fight, it should, in theory, still get in because you have favoritism. So yeah, I'd say that. Yeah, yeah. Right.
All right, so in terms of me here, we'll start with Minotaur. Like, I kind of feel like I'm 80%, 70% sure they're gonna get in. Like, I think if they win regardless, they're in. If they lose their next fight, it kind of depends, but I feel like they'll likely get in. Dragon Slayer, I think if they win their next fight, I think they're in, while it is the possibility where they could get P1'd. I love that term by Spin Doctor. And miss the top 32 because of that. But if they lose their third fight, I don't think Dragon Slayer is going to get in. In terms of the other fight, Blade, I think their only shot of getting in is going to be absolutely annihilating a 2-0 robot that has gotten two, at least, relatively quality victories, which I'm not sure exactly if I see that happening, because like what was said, those two who fights were not exactly the most quality losses because they were constantly having drive problems in the Scorpios fight and then got KO'd relatively quickly by Lucky. And for Lucky, I think they're kind of in the same boat as Dragon Slayer right now, but I think if they go 1 and 2, I think they have a much higher chance of getting in than Dragon Slayer if they also go 1 and 2 here, because like they got an epic start to that Tantrum fight. It had Tantrum on the ropes at first, and then did what they did to Blade, and it was fantastic. So I think Lucky's got to win there. I think Lucky would probably. I think Lucky definitely has a better shot at getting to the top 32 if they win their third fight, whoever that is. But I'd say their chances are reasonable. So, all right. I think on to the next battle.
We could just go to the next battle, you know.
Hey, Pory. Hey, Pory. Buddy, how's your day going, first of all?
Look, listen here. Okay, listen here.
No.
Listen here, Favela. No,
Hey,
no,
Pory,
no, I don't want to hear it, you Favela.
What's your Dark Horse doing, buddy?
No, I don't want to hear it, Mister. I think Lockjaw is going to win the championship. Like, your robot's 0-2. You know, like I don't want to hear it.
I think Tantrum will go all the way, you favela.
Yeah, you didn't think that like a week ago.
Anyway, so next matchup here, a little hard to see because of the sparks, but it's Yeti and Pain Train for
And who's
this
making those
one.
sparks?
Two drum spinners who both kind of had disappointing defeats in their first fight. Yeti took a brutal loss to Mad Catter. Pain Train took a brutal loss to Deep Six in their first fight, and yeah, really came in. This one was a decent fight overall. It wasn't as one-sided as I thought it was going to be when thinking about this, and I got 2 comments though to defend Pory a little. Well, 3 actually. The first thing being, I respect that Pory had the guts to pick Pain Train for this one and stuff. Like, that's a real spicy take, and Pory would have gotten major bragging rights if Pain Train did pull this off. The second thing, Pain Train was winning at first, in my opinion. Like they had 3 of Yeti's wheels clipped before they lost their top piece, and all things went to hell there. And I think they would have won that fight if their armor and stuff wasn't so fragile. And then the third thing being, Pory didn't have a negative confidence poll score at the end of this episode, so
it might be almost negative. I didn't do super good, but like
neither did I.
Oh, you did end up in a negative, Civilian. I tallied up your score.
Yeah, well, you know what? Some of the decisions here were fucking bullshit. We'll get to them later, but fucking bullshit, man.
Are you talking about confidence pool?
Well, yeah, I went 6 and 2, and the 2 predictions I got wrong were my 2 lowest confident picks. So I got lots of points out of this episode.
It should be 4 and 4 right now, and realistically, if
I respect that Pory picked Pain Train for this one, win or lose.
If bonus loser didn't do the thing, I would have been 4 and 4. But bonus loser decided to pull a fucking Lockjaw and do that. So yeah.
We'll get to that, Civilian Arc.
Yeah, but
don't get ahead of yourself.
Anyway, what do you guys got in this fight then?
Okay, so I'm gonna keep it 55th Street.
Never do.
Pain Train was winning this fight at first, proving me right. I mean, look at this picture. Those aren't sparks from Yeti. Those are sparks from Pain Train. And Green, who do you think those are sparks from?
Yeah, Pain Train. I would agree.
Yes, Ace. Yeti had good moments, and Yeti won the fight. But Pain Train held its own, and it at least lost with some dignity this time. So I can't be mad that it lost. Yeah, I predicted it. What of it? I don't care. You're a favela, not you, Green.
I mean, I wouldn't say it held its own. It got KO'd, but it was impressive.
It still held its own, but like it didn't get KO'd like instantly, like with Deep Six. Like it actually had good moments. I mean.
Yeah, I'm impressed by how Pain Train did. It being a midway major, I was not confident in Yeti, but I did think they're just gonna win by KO, destructive KO. But seeing how Pain Train worked, it was amazing. I'm so happy Pain
Yeah.
Train like reeled it in and just came out here and didn't get destroyed. Like it wasn't
Yeah.
an easy win for Yeti. They weren't fed a win. They just won.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, and like Pain Train, if Pain Train hadn't fought Deep Six Fireless, they probably would have won it. Because let's be real, that damage wasn't really Yeti doing it. It was more so like Yeti dismantling what Deep Six had already dismantled because Deep Six is freaking terrifying.
I mean, Yeti fought Mad Catter before this. You see what happened to Yeti after it fought Mad Catter? It's missing a whole panel.
I feel like Deep Six is scarier than Mad Catter though. Like at least getting hit by the spinner.
I feel like Mad Catter more thoroughly picked it apart though. Like that, it was taking hits for a while, and that fight dragged on. Deep Six got like 2 hits. That was two
Oh,
monster
geez.
hits, but like it wasn't like quite the same as what Yeti went through. I think.
I think what you could definitely
guess.
take into consideration there is spare parts too, because like Yeti announced they had spares for everything, and they also had to make a last-second parts order for a few battery packs, I think it was. But Pain Train never announced that. Like it's possible that the repair job from that Deep Six fight could have helped them suffer, like what Pory was mentioning, just because of maybe a lack of spares. But I don't know that for sure and stuff, because Pain Train never said anything of that. Like, I wouldn't even consider that exactly a prediction, but you get the
Yeah.
idea. What do you got, Civilian Arc, on this fight?
This was a fight, I guess. I mean, this was probably my favorite fight of the episode, although I'm going to keep it 55th Street. I wasn't a huge fan of this episode whatsoever. This was definitely the highlight of the episode for me. Like, Pain Train gave out some good hits. Yeti gave us some fun kill shots. It was a fun fight overall. Now, Pory, I'm sorry, but I'm not giving you credit for making
Yes, you are.
making a stupid. Okay, look here, mister. If I decided to like go up to somebody and punch them in the face, that's a spicy like thing for me to do. But why the fuck would you give me credit for it?
That's different. Committing assault and betting on a less liked BattleBot are kind of different things, don't you think?
Nah, nah. This is the internet, buddy. You
Oh,
have a spicy
gosh.
take. You have a spicy take. You're basically assaulting an entire community, buddy.
I don't care about the community though, so that doesn't count.
Okay. Yeah, but otherwise decent fight. And Miles was robbed.
Miles was Miles is definitely not robbed in this one, but
Miles is like
what I will
too
say
slow.
is Pain Train looked great in this one. Like in the previous season, like they struggled to simply drive in a straight line, and that costed them multiple fights. Then in the Deep Six fight, like they were able to drive in a straight line, but I think they were struggling with traction. They didn't seem to have those problems in this fight, meaning I think they figured out how to adjust to the battle box floor and so on. But and yeah, Greg Gibson's original strategy was take this one a little more cautiously because apparently it sounds like from his interview, the rest of the team thought his driving style really hurt them in the Mad Catter fight, which it's always possible that that was true, and they got him to drive a little more cautiously. But personally, that really did not work out for Yeti because Pain Train stacked up on points at first, but then when Greg Gibson started smashing and so on, Pain Train took
Yeah.
some massive damage because like the side armors were ripped off, the top piece was ripped off. If you didn't notice, the drum spinner was hanging off on Pain Train 2, showing the weapon axles were damaged.
Yeah.
Pain Train, I personally think, has an even bigger repair job after this
Oh
fight than
yeah.
the Deep Six fight, but I could be wrong very easily. Feel free to throw something in the comments, Evan, if that is not true, but I'm assuming we'll probably
Yeah.
see a damage report eventually from at least one of these robots and stuff, but
Yeah.
no civilian arc left. But
I have something important that I need to say
what's
that
that?
I forgot. Okay, let me catch up.
Back.
You know who would beat Lucky?
No.
You know who would beat Minotaur?
No.
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 You know who would beat
Crap.
Yeti?
No,
That I
you
could see.
absolute, you absolute
Base.
favela.
Yeti and
No,
Yeti and
no,
Lucky,
no.
Yeti and Lucky.
No,
It's kind of like
no,
a
no,
50-50 shot in my opinion, because like I feel like
no.
that
Oh,
could go
we beat them
either way.
all.
But
No,
then
not
Minotaur,
Yeti.
no shot. They're
We
not gonna.
beat
They're not.
Minotaur.
They're
Red
not.
E.
They're not gonna take out the
You're
2021
not
champs.
beating
So
Minotaur. You're not
No,
gonna
I never
take.
said they were going to take
And
out Robot.
Yeti's
You're not gonna take out the
like,
20.
die or get stuck on his back or something. It's just gonna keep hitting and keep getting hits.
Yeah, how exactly are you? How exactly are you gonna beat Yeti with the 2021 judging criteria, buddy? Like, you're not gonna fucking KO Yeti as a fucking grappler,
Hell yeah, we are.
you favela.
Have you seen that thing grapple? It's fucking beautiful, man.
Oh yeah,
We're going all the way. We're going to take out Minotaur.
Yeah,
We're going to take out
right,
Lucky.
And
Or you're
invertible
right.
bot-
Deadlift
Definitely did a good grappling job against Jackpot, huh?
We let them have that win because it's their
no.
hometown.
We gave
and they
you an
beat that.
opportunity in the first half
No.
of that fight.
I don't
Made
wanna
it look
hear
like
it.
we were driving
No.
on. We had one side of
No.
drive, giving you guys a shot, and yet you guys blew it. You guys didn't capitalize one
Listen,
bit,
Y'all
and I had
gotta give me some credit.
and I ended up getting this piece
I'm
out
not
of
gonna
it,
give you
all this
credit.
damage too and stuff, and all this damage that could have been avoided if Deadlift capitalized, like what we were allowing you guys to
Yep.
do, but that clearly
Mhm.
did not happen. So,
He knows what's up.
yep. All right. So now, top 32 standings for these two. What do you guys think?
Well, I hate to be the bearer of bad news, Pory, but Pain Train ain't getting into the top 32.
Yes,
hate
they
to-
are. They're going all the way.
I don't shoot the messenger here, but I don't think Pain Train's making the top 32.
Man, I don't want to hear it.
And you know what? Pain Train might get a good win in its last fight, but here's the thing: it's not a fan. Actually, there are quite a few people out there who like it, but it's not as much of a fan
It's
favorite
not a fan favorite, no.
as bots that could go 1 and 2, such as like Minotaur, Lockjaw, Kraken, bots like those. So like they'd probably get in over Pain Train. As for Yeti, it's probably in. Much like Minotaur, even if it loses its next fight, it will probably get in just because of favoritism. Although I'd say Minotaur definitely has a bigger chance to get in the top 32 if it loses its last fight than Yeti
Yeah.
does. Oh yeah.
You know, as a big Yeti fan, fellow Alaskan, I'm not
Yeah,
sure
space.
how Yeti's
You're
gonna.
from Alaska?
I'm from Alaska, not currently in it, but from it. So
Wow.
I'm actually really concerned for Yeti. Like, even if they do, like, if they win their next fight, they're in no matter what. But like, if they lose their next fight, I'm not so sure. Pain Train, not as impressive a win, especially since they're 0-2. Mad Catter, absolutely destroyed. If they do not put up a good fight in their Scorpios fight, I say no shot.
I agree with that, but I still
Yeah.
think they will get in because of favoritism. Wait, Spin, are you my friend Nathan from first grade?
Sadly, no.
Oh,
That's
we lost
funny.
touch because we got into a fight. He moved away and sad.
What?
But yeah,
Shut up, Sid. I don't wanna hear
in
it.
terms of my answer for this,
You
Pain
random?
Train, they're gonna need a great win against a great opponent. I think that's their only shot of making the top 32. Cause like I will give it to Pory that I think this was a good loss for
Based.
Pain Train, but the Deep Six just did not go well for them and stuff.
that wasn't
Like
good for 'em.
like they're not only going to need a good win to get into the top 32, but they need to beat a good quality opponent too and stuff. And even that might not be enough to make the top 32. Like I think it's possible, but I think it's less likely. In terms of Yeti, I'm kind of with Spin that Yeti might be in a big hole right now and stuff. Like it's already confirmed that they're going to take on Scorpios, and it's confirmed in an episode description that that's going to be a main event for either episode 8 or 9. I don't remember which, but I think if Yeti wins that one, they're definitely in. If they lose, I'm kind of 50-50 on whether Yeti would get in or not, cuz like their 1-2 record, like they they almost certainly could get in because of popularity reasons as well as strength of schedule, cuz like Mad Catter's a great robot. Scorpios,
So is
we haven't
Pain
seen
Train.
that fight yet, but that's another
Okay.
great robot even if they don't win that fight. But But yeah, I would debate personally if I would accept Yeti in the top 32, at least depending on how that fight with Scorpios goes. Because
Yeah.
like if it's like a back and forth fight, like I would accept Yeti. But if it's something where like Scorpios absolutely bodies them, similar to what Mad Catter did, like I'm a little 50-50 on it.
51st
So
Street.
yeah, keep it 55th Street with that.
Yeah, let's
He said
go.
the thing.
Oh, shut up.
No, but yeah, I agree with you completely.
Yeah. It's a little bit tough, but we'll find out. All right, I think on to the next fight.
Woo!
All right,
Let's
this fight.
go.
Pain. So
All
much
right,
pain.
so I got one thing I want to say. Hey, Civilian, you remember that time you drafted Hijinks in the 5th round of King of Draft, proceeded to trade it for Rampage, and then was bragging about how Rampage is going to do so much better than Hijinks this season, and they're going to actually get a win, while Hijinks is going to go 0-3, and then Hijinks comes in to win against Kraken, even if it might not have been the most impressive of victories.
Hijinks didn't fucking win this.
Yes,
No
they did, bro. They won that.
Yeah,
like
they-
straight
Bro,
up.
I'll literally PayPal you like $80 in saying to you that why Hijinks didn't win this fight. There is zero chance,
All right,
zero
PayPal
shot
me
that
$80
Kraken
then.
lost
That's
this
fine.
fight. Zero chance that Kraken lost this fight. Kraken was dominant. It had great driving, great aggression. Matt Spurk was on top
It
of
wasn't
his
really
game
that
in
aggressive
fight.
though.
Yeah, well, at least he could drive properly on like a bot like
No, it
Hijinks.
couldn't. It was driving in circles half the time. Okay, here's the thing. Here's the thing.
Yeah, like what?
For one thing, Civilian Arc. Haha, you traded Hijack for Rampage. Then
look at you.
number
Look at
two.
you, Mr.
Number
Look at you,
two.
Mr. Pain Train's gonna be the dark horse. Mr. I think
Pain Train is a dark horse. I don't want to hear it. You're Favela. No, what? Here's the thing. Number two. Here's my breakdown of the fight. 4-1 damage for Hijinks. Quite frankly, there's an argument to be made for a clean sweep 5-0 because Kraken did no damage to Hijinks. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, kind of like 50-50 and stuff, because
You'd at least say 4-1.
yes, I do
Yeah,
say
I
at
don't
least
think
I
it's
do say
5-0 because they
4-1.
didn't really kill anything on Kraken.
Okay, so aggression 2-1 for Kraken. And this is as per the rules. This isn't like if Kraken would get all 3 points, then the judges would be going against the criteria, and we don't want that. Because Hijinks used its weapon and did damage with it, it has to get an aggression point. It has to get one aggression point at least, and it didn't get all the aggression. No shot. Control. Here's the gray area. Kraken would have a clean sweep 3-0 if it wasn't like crab walking at the end of the fight. I think that's what did it in, and Hijinks has to get at least one control point just for that reason because Kraken wasn't driving great either. It wasn't like Kraken was like pushing Hijinks into the walls nonstop. Like it got a few good moments for sure, and this is a good loss, but Hijinks won this fight. However, this fight does point out a lot of the problems that the judging criteria has. Because on paper, yes, if this fight, let's say this fight happened in the Comedy Central era with the 45-point system, Kraken probably would have won that because all 3 categories were equal amounts of points. But the fact that damage is so heavily weighed in the judging criteria, Kraken could not win this fight without it being unfair. That said, maybe the judging criteria needs to be looked at even more, and I wouldn't disagree with that. It definitely should be, but Hijinks won this fight. Although, Lisa, what the hell? Hijinks did not get 2-1 aggression. No shot. Thank you.
My thing is actually very similar. I was just gonna explain score because like you have to give Hijinks 4-1 damage. It took out half the drive and a tooth, whereas Kraken did next to nothing in terms of damage. It gains a point just because it didn't completely die.
It killed its crusher too, by the way.
Oh man. Oh yeah, 4-1 damage for sure. Like the only reason it doesn't get the other point is because Kraken was still moving, and like it was still mainly intact. Like the whole body was. It just like
Yeah.
blocked chips and cracks and stuff. But like it was still intact. Just no like half its drive gone. Crusher gone. All right. Control. I would give 2-1 control Kraken. The reason why Kraken doesn't get the full 3-0, the full clean sweep, is because it couldn't really do much with the control. It's not like it was pushing its screws, stopping its weapon constantly, or like
Yeah.
Put it in
hitting
the
the hammer.
upper
It put it on the
deck.
shelf. It put it on the shelf, and that was it. Okay.
It put it on the upper deck.
I don't care what it's called.
Put
It's
it
a
on-
shelf.
Yeah, so because it put it on the upper deck, then it gets 2 points instead of 1, yeah.
Yeah, but like the thing is, that's all it did. It didn't really do much. It's like stop the weapon, but it couldn't like
Neither did
consistently do it. It
Hijinks.
took hits, and that's all it did to stop the weapon. It didn't push against a wall. It
Hijinks
didn't like.
had no control.
Bro, you
It's
sound like
showing like control.
Bill Cosby right now. You're like, what?
It was not completely dominant. It
Okay,
was
I'm gonna
dominant.
chime in here a little bit and stuff with what I thought about the
Yeah.
judge's decision, because like this one was a little complicated because I originally was thinking Kraken should have had this one. Like I was originally
too.
thinking this was a bad call, but I wanted to go a little further in this one after seeing the judges' scorecards, which I hope Battlebots does more often, because I
Yes.
felt that was a good idea. But because of that, I decided to look up on the Battlebots website, check out the judging criteria and the definitions and stuff. And when I look through how the judges are supposed to judge aggression and control, they made the right call. There's 1 point in each of them where Hijinks definitely should have gotten an aggression and a control point and stuff. And my judging how I would score the fight would be exactly how Pory did. In terms of time purposes, I'm not going to explain that stuff, but I am planning on doing an individual podcast where I'm kind of going to go through that a little bit in depth. Talk about the judging criteria, like what the definitions and stuff are, and then between and then there are a few decisions like this one. I'll add Black Dragon Rotator to that as well. We're gonna get to Defender and Riptide a little bit later because I heard there were some disagreements with that one too. Maybe even a few previous judges' decisions that were close, and explain how I would have scored that fight based off of that kind of stuff. Not sure how many people will actually be interested in that, but I think it'd be something cool to maybe touch on and talk about in a separate video. But yeah, and I would score damage 4-1, and the only reason I'm really going to give Kraken a point here, because Kraken didn't get one successful bite in there, because like all the like they had a few opportunities in there, but I think just how small of an area those wings have on Hijinks just gave Kraken so much trouble, and they overshot their bite twice in that fight. And why did Kraken end up losing drive on one side? Because Kraken is the one robot so far that has come out with a damage report that I've seen of as of when we recorded this. And apparently Hijinks did clip one of the wheels, and it pushed right up against the drive system and locked that side of drive, resulting in them losing drive on one side. And why was Hijinks having struggles with mobility as well? Basically, I think it's basically Kraken also touched on this a little bit. They think it was either a traction issue or just Hijinks doesn't drive well upside down. I think it's the second one because Hijinks did get flipped in the Slammo fight last season and had mobility problems because of that was going on. But
That's an
yeah,
undercutter
and
thing. Valkyrie's the same way.
yes. Well, I wouldn't say exactly
Not as bad.
not
but
as bad, but yes, like the point still stands and stuff. Either way though, I think the judges got this one right based off of how each of the three categories is supposed to be scored. If this was like Robot Wars judging criteria, or like Pory said, Battlebots Comedy Central era, Battlebots Kraken probably would have had this one. And even Kraken talked about it in their damage report that they agreed with the decision too, based off of the definitions of each of them and stuff, which, yeah. So I think that probably about covers it. Do you have anything you want to say, Civilian? Because I know you haven't exactly explained your side that much.
fucking rolling right now, dude. Fucking. Okay, fine. Hijinks 4-1 damage. Fine, whatever. Maybe I was high on an edible or some shit, but didn't see the whole thing. From my perspective, 3-2 damage for hijinks because it was crab walking a lot too in the fight, and
That wasn't because of damage, though. That was just because of Hijinks'
inverted.
design.
here, but here's the thing: aggression 2-1 Kraken easily.
Yes.
Easily.
Yes.
And Lisa, I don't know how you score your
Civilian, be
fights.
careful with your words.
Can you just bring Mega Tento back, please? Thank you.
Based.
gosh.
Based. Okay.
That'd be
Bring it
awesome to see
back.
Megatento back, though.
Okay, control. I don't know how Kraken wouldn't get a sweep on control. If you make that crab walking argument, you can also say that argument to hijinks, which puts it at a basic stalemate. Kraken gains no control points, and hijinks gains no control points either. So realistically, it boils down to what happened before both bots were crab walking, which boils down to Kraken clearly winning control sweeply.
You can definitely make that argument.
The
I don't
problem
agree with it,
is
but you
like
can definitely make that.
Pory mentioned this, but there are holes in the judging criteria for this year. Like there were holes last season too, and I think Battlebots
Every
filled
season.
some of those holes for this season. But like I said, I'm going to go more in depth with this in a future video. But there is one point in the control section of the judge's guidebook in there that explains why hijinks should have gotten a point for control in
Yeah.
that one and
Like they
stuff. And
specifically explain it
yes,
in the thing.
Oh, I just read it. It's the dumbest thing ever, and this is the only reason I'd like Robot Wars more than BattleBots, like, because I'd rather see Robot Wars doesn't have shitty decisions all the time, and even if they
Robot
do,
Wars has
it's
shitty decisions. Remember Cherub versus PP3D?
yeah, but not. I actually have a case for that.
I know. I heard your case for that.
Yeah, but like and Robot Wars just has bad decisions because they're bad decisions. BattleBots have bad decisions because their scoring criteria is literal garbage. And
I don't disagree with you, but like
they probably
you can't
got it out of
really be mad at the judges or at hijinks for that. Like that's not their fault. The judges are just doing what they're paid to do.
They probably got the fucking judging criteria out of the fucking park they found Nightmare's Blade in or some shit.
What?
I'm a little confused.
Didn't you tell me a story about how some weirdos found like Nightmare's Blade in a park or something?
No. There's a rumor that a bunch of Comedy Central robots buried their robots in the woods after BattleBots was canceled, but it's very unsubstantiated and it's probably not true.
I mean, Beta buried its hammerhead in the desert somewhere.
But yeah, kind of like what Pory said. Don't blame hijinks. Do not blame the judges for this one, because like this was not on them one bit and stuff. Because like the judges were just doing what they're paid to do and stuff, and they're supposed to follow the rules and follow the rules that BattleBots gives them. Because like Aquamarine Square follows my judging definitions when she judges fights for like Fantasy Robot League and War Machines and stuff.
Shut
And
up.
basically it's kind of like the same thing and stuff, which I know Pory and Civilian both think I have shitty judging criteria too, but
at least you got rid of didn't you say you got rid of weapon usage for the latest
for the one we recorded, yes, at least for this one, because I got a new set of criteria that I'm trying out and stuff, because like it's me testing out a lot of stuff, see what I like and dislike and so on, but
then you've definitely improved it significantly.
But yeah, so yeah, what do you think these two robots' standings are for the top 32 right now?
I want to go first.
Go ahead.
Hijinks ain't fucking in. No shot. Hijinks needs a win desperately.
They gotta win. They gotta win another fight.
They
Yeah,
have to win. Kraken, on the other hand,
Kraken's not in unless they win their next fight.
Remember how I said how I think that when it comes down to 1 and 2s. I feel like there will be 2 Owen bots that start out 0 and 2. I feel like Kraken will be one of them, and I feel like Kraken might lead the charge for those types of bots, like the 1 and 2 bots, because it had an impressive performance against Rotator, and it should have beat Hijinks. And I'll get to the other 0 and 2 bot later, because that's also in this episode. So yeah, Kraken not in yet. Hijinks not in unless it wins, but both bots need a win to get in easily.
Yeah, I agree. Like they definitely, if I feel like if Kraken gets a good win, it's in, but it has to be like a pretty good win. And Hijinks has to get a win, or else they're definitely out. So we'll see.
Okay, so I am very concerned for Kraken because it's 0 and 2. But like, I'm just scared for all 1 and 2 bots. Like, there are 1 and 2 bots will get in just because they have to be in. Minotaur, basically anyone from the top 4 last year, they have to be in. But like with Kraken, they're not like a top 32 necessity. They will get dropped in favor of a more favorable bot. Like, I'm not confident in the favoritism for Kraken. Also, I'm just not confident in like more than like 4 1 and 2 bots will get in. Like, I don't think many 1 and 2 bots will get in because just like I think the field is so good, and like how they're feeding the bots are right now, I think that so many 2 and 1 bots will get in that just like there will be no space for 1 and 2. So many 2 and 1 bots will get in that there's gonna be like very little space for just like impressive 1 and 2 bots. The 1 and 2 bots that will be in are favorites, and that's it.
Yeah,
Probably.
yeah, and then we'll start off with Kraken here. I think Kraken, the odds are low. They will probably get in. But right now, I think Kraken needs Kraken's kind of like several other robots where I think they need a great win against a really high tiered opponent. They said on their damage report that they're not officially out yet. Like if they win their third fight, they are definitely in the running for a top 32 spot. But if they lose this fight, no doubt they're out. 0-3 robot will definitely not make it in. But then but then for but then if they go 1-2, if they get a weak win, I don't think they're gonna make it in and stuff, even if they go with like favoritism. Because like what Spin Doctor said, I'm betting odds are good. They're probably going to accept less 1-2 robots for this time around. And yeah, in terms of Hijinks, I agree with everyone else. Where I think if Hijinks loses their next fight, they're not getting in because like this definitely was not the most quality of victory so far. Hijinks did get some great hits, including I didn't think they could spin up their weapon that fast compared to like what they because like I expected like Kraken to be on them and stuff and limit the number of shots they got, but Hijinks got some decent hits in my opinion, even with Civilian laughing in the background and so on.
I'll always laugh about Hijinks, so.
But yeah, well the hits were definitely nice. Hijinks did not look that great, and even if they win their second fight, I think they're in. And even if it's a high tiered opponent, I don't think they're gonna have a high seed. Like, I would bet probably like high 20s to maybe low 30s and stuff, just because Hijinks has like it's been a hard run so far for Hijinks and stuff, and while it definitely looks better than what it did last season, there's work still needing to be done with it. All right, on to the next battle. Alright, here with another good one. Like, I loved this fight. We got Defender and Riptide, 2 newcomers. Defender might not be a new team, but it's a new robot and stuff. And taking on Riptide. So Defender is coming off of a loss to Ribot, and Riptide is coming off of a win against Huge. And gotta say, like this fight was much better than what I thought it was going to be. That's all I really gotta say before I leave the floor to you three. So yeah. What do you three got?
Okay, so this fight was something. I mean, there really wasn't a crazy amount of substance in the actual fight itself. The Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2 tricks that Riptide did, that was really fun to watch. for sure. Like just seeing it like fly up in the air, like, that was a lot of fun. Defender was very well driven in this, and there really wasn't a lot Riptide could do once their weapon was down. It's those Vasquez boys. They know how to drive a robot. They're very good at it, and it was a fun fight. It's good to see both these robots actually get to show what they could do in the box, because neither of them really got a chance to prove it in their last fight. Like, Riptide's fight against Huge was like a 20-second fight. Defender's fight against Ribot was like under a minute probably, and against a champion. And it's shut up, civilian arc. And it's just it was nice to see them actually have a fight, and it was very heartwarming to see Defender, a clampy control bot, get a dub against a horizontal or vertical spinner. Like that was very nice.
I mean, first of all, I just want to say I don't know what you're talking about, Pory. I mean, it never fought Tantrum ever, so.
Okay.
Now, my opinion on this fight, this was, in all honesty, if Riptide's weapon wasn't down, I'd probably say this was my favorite episode of the night. But there were still some great moments in it. You got Riptide literally throwing itself on the upper deck to just kind of like and hit itself like extremely high up. That was fun. Jason Vasquez also had some great driving moments in this. It was a pretty fun performance overall from both teams.
What do you got, Spen?
This is very easily my favorite fight of the night. I just really had a lot of fun with it, So first off, it's so great to see lifter clamper thing do the thing against a spinner. Like, I am so happy to see Defender actually, get a win for the control bots over a vertical spinner, especially one as powerful as Riptide. Like that thing's insane, And then you also have the somersault. That was amazing. It just self upper decking. That was amazing. I love how high it flew. It was just a spectacle. It was a slugfest. It was pretty even, as you can tell by the controversy going around right now. It was just such a well-rounded fight, such a fun fight to see too, and I love both bots. No matter how much hate Riptide gets, I like it.
Oh yeah, definitely. And yeah, I agree. This was an awesome battle. Like what Pory said, we really got the opportunity to see what both of these robots could do here. And we saw some nasty hits from that Egg Beater and Riptide, disabled the Clamper on Defender, and did some other damage to the front. Jason Vasquez's adjustments for this one definitely worked out well for them, as they adjusted the placement of some of their electronics, and they also ditched a few forks, because I think spare parts were an issue for that robot, if I recall right from the damage report they posted after the Ribot fight. But either way, it all worked out well. And what I gotta say is, I think this fight would be my This fight would be my reply to anybody who disagrees with me once again on that Jason Vasquez is not a proven driver and stuff. Because I've talked about a few times where I think Jason Vasquez's driving is what will get Defender a few victories, and I think this was a great case for that. Because and then we saw Riptide somersault up in the air, and I thought one of Jason Vasquez's biggest driving moments was after Riptide somersaulted and then went over to the other side of the upper deck in order to get off it. Like, Jason Vasquez took a complete lap around the upper deck and box rushed them completely and got an epic pin in there. Like, he drove this fight really well, despite the damage that Riptide is facing in this one, and so on. And so the other thing people might question is that I've been hearing about is, like, Riptide got flipped over. They got forks on that robot in terms of, like, the picture and lots of the social media activity we've seen from them coming into this season. Why didn't they use the forks to self-right? So So the answer to that, as for what I've heard, somebody in a Discord server that was a team member, I want to say it was a team member of Endgame that said this, but I might be wrong about the team, but they said that Riptide supposedly wasn't able to get the forks ready and running in time, based off of what I've heard, and so that's why we didn't see them self-right with the forks. That would make sense. That's what I've heard and so on, but yeah, epic showdown between these two. Great moments on both sides, and yeah. So what do you guys? So then, two-part question once again. What do you think of the judges' decision, and what do you think the standings are like for these two for the top 32?
Okay, so for the judge's decision, I agreed with it. Riptide damage, like I'm gonna say 3-2, just because Riptide's weapon also died. But Riptide definitely has the edge in damage. Control 2-1 defender. Aggression 2-1 defender probably, but it was close. It was close. Like it would probably be a 6-5 across the board. Um, but I do think defender definitely won this. As for top 32 for both of these robots, I think they have to get wins to be in the top 32. Like that's pretty much what it comes down to. Like if it's the same case for both of them. They're both in about the same boat. Like they got one win, and then they each got one loss, and then it just depends where they go from there.
I'm
Ooh,
kind of
can
in
I
the
go
same
next?
boat as I'm kind of in the same boat as Pory with this. I kind of agree with him and all that stuff. So yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna go. Judging, I have to agree. I gave the 2-2-2. I gave Riptide the edge because it was still technically spinning. I guess because like it was very faint spinning, but it was there. Whereas Defender, it lost its clamp, but its full body, like its lifting part, was still there. But I still gave Riptide the edge. Aggression. Riptide was actively running away at the end. Like they were just avoiding a fight, and I marked stuff off for that. I'm not sure how clear the matrix is about just avoiding a fight or just running away just because you're
I read this in the rule books to answer your question, Spin. Basically, running away would count as losing the aggression, but they do have an exception to where if you're running away in order to spin up your weapon, which they were doing a few times, that will not count against you.
So like my issue is they were spinning, all right, but like you already they like you can see clearly their spinner just like not functioning right, and they just kept running away. Like they weren't trying at all. They just kept like I couldn't like personally I can't tell the difference in that like kind of fight if they were running away to spin up or running away just because they can't win a fight as of now. Because like I just like it's really hard to tell. I'm just repeating points. Yeah. For how they are gonna do. I'm really bad at talking right now. How they're gonna do going in like top 32 chances. I think both are strong contenders if they get another win. Especially Riptide, considering they got a win over Huge, though it was not impressive. It is still a win over Huge, and as we know, just a win over Huge is good. So yeah, I say they get a win, even if it's a light win, they get in.
I do want to mention something that I didn't forgot to like reply because I forgot Green was making the Riptide fork point. I might have misheard you in this, Green, or I might just not have heard you. I feel like they kind of should have just went with the forks anyway, but like kind of just like attach them to the bot because they probably still could have had some ground game on defender, or at least more ground game than they would have in a situation like that. They
Yeah,
probably wouldn't be able to lift the forks, but they'd still be, in theory, have ground game over them.
yeah, you could either use it for ground game, or it's also possible they might have been going for reach with the egg beater. I wouldn't know for sure what the answer to that is, but
Well, didn't they have
yeah.
actual wedgelets with huge, if I'm not mistaken?
Had a
No, they
wedge.
had
I
like a
wouldn't.
tanky wedge. They had like a
Yeah,
very
yeah, I
tanky
think I.
wedge,
Yeah,
a tanky plow wedge that they used against Huge.
but yeah, in terms of how I scored this, I agreed with the decision. I thought Defender got this one. damage, I would go 4-1 because I was a little hesitant on whether Riptide's drum spinner was actually down and so on. Like I'm like 60% sure it was, because there were some times after that big Tony Hawk moment, like their drum spinner was slowly spinning up. Like it definitely was not even close to what it was like prior to that, but yeah, and I would probably go 4-1 damage for Riptide there with all the damage they were able to do at the beginning of that. And I don't know if my roommate's being too loud, but yeah. And then
I said hi.
yeah, and then aggression and control. Well, aggression I'd go 2-1 for defender and stuff, but yeah, because Defender was definitely being much more aggressive. Riptide had some aggression moments at the first bit of the fight, but yeah, like Spin was saying, they were running away, but I think they would probably get the exception for quite a bit. But either way, Defender was definitely being much more aggressive because they were constantly trying to get in Riptide's face and control the fight. And control, like I'd honestly go clean sweep for Defender here. Like,
Yeah.
but it's close. Like because like I didn't mention this much in the hijinks and Kraken fight, but with how the judges' rules are set up, like it's really hard to get a clean sweep on any of those categories and stuff, which is why I'm a little hesitant with that call, but yeah.
Go with your heart, Green. Go with what you
Yeah,
believe
but
in.
I'd go 3-0 control for defender, but
Ace.
yeah, like I said, I'm hesitant on that one and stuff just because of some of like the research I've done on stuff like this. But yeah, anything else on this fight, or should I get to the next one then?
Can I talk about Rampage for a minute?
Go ahead.
So like without their like going into the season, I really like Rampage because I heard that Greg Gibson was on the team. I wanted to help them out. And I looked at the design. I thought, oh, this is a spiritual successor to Yeti.
Rampage?
Not Rampage, Riptide. Sorry.
Yes, let's go.
So,
That's
and
some
then-
base shit, Spin.
Okay, so and you go into this fight, and I learned the fact that they don't have their forks, and according to you or whoever was on Discord, that their forks were not working going into the season. Now I go from I love them, they're a spiritual successor to Yeti, to they're just taller emo Railgun Max
Yeah.
or knockoff Link or whatever. So
True.
I don't know, it just lost something with the forks for me.
Oh yeah. I have to catch up.
Go ahead.
You know who would beat hijinks?
That
Probably.
I'd support that one.
I agree. I agree with that.
Yeah,
You know
okay.
who would
I got
beat?
you.
You know who would beat Defender?
I'm not too sure about that.
I don't know,
Hmm.
honestly. But yeah, I didn't mention
Listen,
top
I
32
trust
status. I
Spin's
think
strategy
kind of
more,
like
and
Spin said, I think these two, I think they probably both need a win in order to get in, like what Pory said as well. But I think they are big contenders because they both had a reasonable victory so far. Because Riptide's win might have been a little too quick for me, but it was against Huge, and Huge is a quality opponent, and Defender got this one, which was a really great showing. But I think if they go 1-2, I'm not sure if either of them will get accepted into the top 32, but it's possible if they get a quality enough victory and stuff, and Battlebots doesn't play favoritism with it, even though I have a feeling they probably will, but who knows? So
Another thing to take into account is
Yep.
just entertainment
too.
factor. That's something BattleBots takes a look at. That's why Tombstone's in every time. This is an entertaining bot to see. And with this showing, both bots really entertaining, really great showing, strong chances.
Oh yeah, definitely. All right, on to the next fight then. Yep, this fight. So we got Deep Six and Smee for this one, and this was the YouTube exclusive fight, and Pory mentioned this, and the YouTube exclusive fights have seemed to be getting more and more disappointing. While I did like Valkyrie and Triple Crown more than Rampage and Retrograde, I would agree with this case here for this one. Like, this is probably my least favorite fight of the season so far, and
Yeah.
what do you three got
Could
on
have been
this
a
one?
banger. It could have been a banger. It could have been amazing. I could have
Yeah.
gotten 5 points in King of Draft, but I did not, and there was not much to say. They failed. Robots failed to hit each other, and Deep Six gets stuck in the kill slot. Then Smee did shear off a wheel, so at least there's that. But man, I don't know why this wasn't just a flat out basement fight. Like honestly, it's like they're like I'm sure they have good fights in their well, at least decent fights in their arsenal for the YouTube exclusive, but they're giving us these. Like next week I'm expecting the bonus fight to be like two bots that never leave their squares for the fight or something, like honestly.
You know, I like the
Yeah.
sportsmanship with Smee. They
Yeah.
tried to get them out, but like their approach was, well, I understand the approach just to push from behind because you don't want to be in the front end of that spinner. But like I feel like I I appreciate them like actually asking what they can do to help. I appreciate them trying, but like there's also the scary option which I would not take if I were them. But like this fight as a whole, really disappointed. I was going for Smee, I was rooting for Smee, but part of me really went.
I think your mic fell or something like that.
Yeah.
Sorry, can you hear me now?
Yep.
Yes.
Yep.
Okay. Is my mic quality worse?
No, not really.
Not really. I can still understand you and
Okay.
everything.
Where did you stop hearing me? Was it as soon as I opened my mic?
No. Or I think it was kind of like Smee was like trying to assist and so on,
Yeah,
and try to get
yeah,
Deep Six out.
Yeah.
you kind of cut out right when you were talking about like the SME team asking what they could do
Yeah.
to help.
Yeah, that was great. I really love seeing that. That was like the highlight of the match. I just really wish we just saw more of it. I was rooting for Smee. I predicted Smee to win. Part of me was hoping Smee would turn into a multi-bot. That did not happen either. I just kind of
I
wish
mean,
more
it almost
happened.
did.
Yeah, almost. Yeah. It's just kind of disappointing because you have such an interesting bot, and you have such a what's the word? Such just a really spectacular bot spectacle, just a spectacle of a bot on both sides.
Yeah. Oh,
Well,
am I up?
yeah, go ahead. Also, Pory, Tombstone just followed me on Insta too.
Yeah, okay. So I kind of just pointed this out when me and Green were just like throwing out predictions in our throwing out our prediction. I can't speak. When me and Green were throwing out our predictions in like Instagram group chats, Green made a comment that this fight would either like be a 1-2 shot for Deep Six or Smee would just push him all the time. And I immediately commented on that saying it would either be that means it'll either just be a Deep Six fight or a Smee fight. And ironically enough, we didn't get either of that. So, I mean, at least it subverted expectations, at least.
It reached my expectations because I said it was either going to be one hit KO on Deep Six's part or Smee was going to win.
Yeah,
but
oh, go ahead. Go ahead, civilian.
yeah, this is kind of a fucking. This is very not 55th Street. This is definitely getting worse and worse as time goes on, and it's just kind of sad to see fights like these happen. But you know, fights like these do happen at points. It's nice to see Smee back, though. It's nice to see it win by knockout. Funny enough,
Base.
although it did win by knockout already in the past.
Yeah.
And they will again. Yeah, boy.
Yeah, because basically this was a disappointment. Like in my prediction podcast, like the reason why I picked Smee for this one is just my concerns for why this was a YouTube exclusive fight. Because like if Deep Six
Yeah.
connects with that weapon, like just based off of that, which would just make it a televised fight in the most cases, in my opinion. Which is the reason why I was leaning towards that Smee was going to avoid that weapon and Deep Six wasn't going to connect with it. But the truth is, like, Deep Six got close a few times because there were a few times where where Deep Six got underneath Smee and looked like they were about to connect, but then looked like Smee backed off in time or something like that, and eventually Deep Six got stuck in the kill saw slots. Like Spin said, great sportsmanship from Smee, who's trying to get Deep Six out of there and stuff, because I think they seem to not want to win the fight that way, including I think Joe even said in his game plan type thing that he wanted to make sure it was a fun fight and stuff. And
Yeah.
my guess is he didn't think that was a fun fight, which I personally would not think that would exactly be fun. And
like at least he
Yeah.
tried to do
oh
something
yeah,
about it.
because he was trying to, but unfortunately, I think the only way he would have been able to get Deep Six out would involve
hit.
him running into the weapon, which he probably would not want to
Yeah.
happen, and he ended up pushing Deep Six in more, I feel, accidentally. But yeah, so this one definitely was not a quality win for Smee, even despite them helping, and I think Smee's gonna need to make a bigger case if they want to get into the top 32 and so on. And then Deep Six with the top 32, I think they need to win their next fight in order to get in. I think they're kind of in the same boat as Hijinks right now, because like their win was destructive. Like, don't get me wrong about that. But the quality of opponents so far just hasn't been that great for Deep Six so far.
Hey.
Like, Pain Train could prove me wrong. Like at the time, it wasn't the most quality of opponents, but Pain Train could prove me wrong if they do make that dark horse run, what Pory is predicting and stuff.
You know.
Like as of now, my point on that stands in terms of quality of opponents. But if Pain Train does make the dark horse run that Pory is predicting, I can go eat my words for lunch one day. So.
You know, base.
I love eating words for lunch. It's like my
Yeah.
favorite meal.
No, but yeah, I agree. Both these robots need wins in their next fights. They both need another win to make the top 32. And I mean, Smee in theory should have 2 more fights. I mean, there's one that's floating around in the rumor mill, but and we'll see what their third fight is. But they just both need wins to get into the round of 32. But we'll see.
Yes, I agree.
Yeah.
All
Where
right.
I'm at in this right now is yeah, as you guys said, both of these things need wins desperately. Like if Deep Six loses, it's automatically out, and Smee is not. If Smee, I don't know. I don't know about Smee. I don't know any of its fights, but like if you're getting a debut fight this late in the game, I have to assume that Smee didn't get every single regular season fight.
Yeah,
I'd have to assume
I
that.
was kind of leaning towards either they only got 2 fights or they had a basement fight earlier or something like that.
Yeah,
But
they might have had a basement fight. That is very possible.
of course, so your point still stands, Civilian. So go ahead and continue.
Yeah.
So I think just based on that merit, I think if Smee doesn't win its next fight, which I mean I have no fucking clue who it is. Well, actually I do know who it is, but I don't think it's
Not
public
public.
yet. It's not
Not
public,
public.
so
It's
I
in the
won't.
rumor mill and stuff.
Yeah, so I won't say who it is. But shout out to Captain Mantine. I don't know how Smee will do. I think the thing is, this is just confusing because we don't know Smee's like previous history in this season. This could have been a debut fight, and it's only getting 2 fights, or it could have had a basement fight at some point. That's just the most confusing part to me. I think regardless, I don't think Smee's realistically a 2-1 bot that would probably get in regardless. I think it'll be just one of those bots that doesn't get in. So yeah, I guess I'll just go with that.
What if Smee is 2-0 right now? Like before his third fight? Like what if it's just
Yeah.
like
That'd be crazy, but yeah, we're not revealing any of the rumored fights anyway, mostly because like
India
70% of the rumors I heard about last season were false. And so in case if there's a matchup that's rumored to happen doesn't happen, I don't want to hype up the audience for a matchup that's
Yeah,
not happening. So
Oh,
yeah,
shout out
that's
to
why we're not sharing lots of these if you're going to ask. So
shout out to Endgame versus Shatter.
Yeah. But,
Yeah.
yeah, let's go ahead and get to the main event. All right, main event time, and we got a battle between two excellent drivers here. We got Civ's preseason predicted champ versus Hypershock, one robot that I've got a few hot takes on for this season, and yeah, this was a great fight in my opinion. I loved this main event. Like it's probably ranked either 2 or 3 if I rank the 6 main events so far. I haven't thought that through exactly.
I'd
But
probably go like I'd probably say like second or third too. It's not as good as Lockjaw's last main event. I think I
oh
can
yeah, Lockjaw versus Copperhead
safely.
is without a doubt my number 1 right now. I
Yeah,
absolutely love that fight. But
yeah,
yeah,
that's
what do you
easily.
3 got in this battle?
It was a very good fight. I had a lot of fun with it. Some nice back and forth. Both robots losing one wheel each, just pristine, and that Uda was just icing on the cake. It was great for sure.
I thoroughly enjoyed this fight. This was such an amazing thing to see. For one, Hypershock finally gets some main event win. After his last one, it just died randomly to Gruff, and his last two were Bite Force. So it's nice to see it get a main event win, especially one as impressive as this. Another thing is,
Yeah, what?
so I follow Hypershock on Instagram. They lost 3 wheels in this. Like they lost a wheel and the other 2 were clipped. Not
Yeah,
clipped as in
Lockjaw
Yeah,
clipped like 3
the wheel
wheels.
on the other
yeah.
side on the front was loose as well. I personally thought they were going to lose that wheel as well, but
Yeah,
they
same.
Yeah.
didn't. You go ahead and
And
continue,
the
Spin.
third one was just damaged badly. Yeah. And then another thing is the shock and fear on Will's face when he Uda's Lockjaw, just the uneasiness and unsureness of whether he gets disqualified for that is just so funny to me, especially knowing Jake did
Uh,
not get disqualified.
Yeah, I will want to say this, and I'll let Spin continue if he has anything else, or Civilian can start. But Pory mentioned on the last
Yes, go.
podcast that that supposedly a vertical spinner Uda the robot right before Hydra sent Gruff out of the arena, and apparently the claims are that this fight happened before that. At least I think Pory, I think that's what you said. But
Yes, that's what I've heard. I've heard this fight happened immediately before Hydra Gruff.
yeah, yeah, which I think you heard
Oh
that
yeah,
from
Sean
somebody
was
with
there
Tentative
live.
Live, but yeah, so think this was that Uda, and I think that's the reason why Will Bill's face looked so shocked, or surprised, like what Spin
yeah.
was talking about, because I think Will Bales might have been worried he might get disqualified or something like that because of that, and
Yeah.
but I,
If
it,
this wasn't Hypershock getting the KO, they would have easily disqualified Hypershock.
I don't even think
And
they do that, because a lot of
No.
people have said this in Discord, but disqualification would make for bad TV and stuff, and
Hmm.
which I think might be the reason why they didn't show Riptide's false start on Huge back then, and when we talked
they
about
should have.
that. But even though they should have, that's probably the reason why, because yeah, disqualifications just wouldn't make for good TV, and I think that's the reason why they didn't disqualify Hypershock, they didn't disqualify Hydra, and I don't think they disqualify anybody, like, and so on, like, but you can't count out that, like, that was an awesome hit that Hypershock got that sent Lockjaw out, and before I get to my analysis, I'll let Civilian go ahead and talk about this one. I'll give him the
This is
spotlight.
this was kind of a painful fight for me to watch because at one hand I saw Lockjaw going in, getting some nice shots, and I'm like, all right, I'm finally gonna get Pory to watch another anime after Toradora. Let's fucking go. Then I'll get to pick Green's anime if Black Dragon or Minotaur lose in round one. Then see that Lockjaw has its I don't this is probably not its configuration name, but I'm gonna call it this anyways. Lockjaw brought in its chastity belt for this fight, which yeah, I don't understand the reasoning anymore. It's not based, it's not 55th Street. Um and Lockjaw seemed to be having drive troubles. I don't know if y'all noticed this, but Lockjaw did seem to be having some drive troubles when it was like near the screws at some point. I don't know if this was radio trouble I don't know what this was, but if someone here wants to clear this up, or someone in the comments, please. And Donald, if you're watching this, I love you. But yeah, this was an impressive win for Hypershock. This was pretty wholesome because like this is kind of like I kind of love like kind of wanted this fight to happen since season 3 because both bots have been fairly similar bots since then, and yeah, this was kind of just like a fun fight to see overall. And yeah.
Yeah. So one thing that really shocked me about this fight, where I was talking about this in the prediction podcast that I didn't think this was going to happen, but Hypershock won the ground game against Lockjaw. That shocked me in this one. Like Lockjaw has been
Hypershock to you?
yeah, basically. But Lockjaw is probably the robot that's come the closest to winning the ground game against Bite Force so far.
Yeah. Oh
Like
yeah.
like
Definitely.
yeah, you kind of get my point there. Like basically my point is Lockjaw is one where they have great ground game to it, and Hypershock Will Bales wasn't exactly a ground game guy until coming into this season where we see Wedgelets for the Slammo fight as well as the Lockjaw fight, and he won the ground game against Lockjaw. And so that actually kind of leads me to why I think tried to use the back piece, why Lockjaw tried to use the back piece, because like even though Lockjaw was doing some wheel damage to Hypershock and stuff, they were not winning a majority of the weapon on weapon exchanges. Hypershock was just knocking them back and stuff, and so what I think the idea was behind using the back piece was try to slow down Hypershock's spinner and then simply turn with their weapon up to full speed and nail Hypershock right there and stuff, and send Hypershock back and maybe do some serious damage to them. Of course,
Well,
that didn't exactly go in their favor, nor did it favor them in the Copperhead fight that much. So
yeah. I will say though. I'm gonna keep it 55th Street. I'm gonna keep it 55th Street. Hypershock's gonna make top 4. Mark my words. Hypershock is going to
I could
be
see that.
a
go ahead and
semifinalist.
answer
Here.
what you think about Lockjaw's top 32 status, because I was gonna ask that right after you said that.
Okay. Yeah. Hypershock's it. No doubt. It's a 2-0 bot. It's probably one of the higher 2-0 bots in my opinion. Probably better than other 2-0s like Ribot and Tantrum and stuff. Uh, Lockjaw. As I said with Kraken, I think there's gonna be like one or two bots that start 0-2 but end 1-2 and make postseason. I think Lockjaw will be the other bot because Lockjaw had two very impressive showings here. The Hypershock showing wasn't as impressive, but it was still a decent showing. Like it got some good shots in the fight, and Copperhead fight it did really well in. So I don't see a reason why Lockjaw should be counted out of the postseason just yet. It definitely needs to win its next fight at least.
Yeah, I agree. Hypershock is in their next fight will probably determine whether they get a high seed or a mid seed. I think where they're at right now, they at least get a higher mid seed. If they do
I,
well in the next fight, a high seed.
I mean, right now, I think Chris Rose has to dye his hair. I mean, if you ask me.
Yeah. I mean, as long as Hypershock keeps this momentum going, I think Will Vales is gonna dye his hair. But Lockjaw has to win their third fight to make top 32, and it's crucial. But that said, both of their losses, they definitely had their good moments, and they were good losses. So I think Lockjaw is good as long as they don't goof up fight number 3.
Yeah.
Ooh, me next, me next. So, Hypershock, very easily top 4 in my opinion. Unless they really screw the pooch in the third fight, I think they're top 4 very easily. Because, like, this is just so impressive, and last fight also impressive. And then, Lockjaw, on the other hand, I'm actually fairly confident they get in. One reason, favoritism. Second reason, really entertaining fight so far. I mean, you have my second favorite. Yeah, they're in the they're Lockjaw's in both of my top 2 main events of the season. I think like entertainment value, they're pretty
Yeah.
solid, you
Yeah.
know. And then also, they're just a really good bot. You give them like a mid-tier bot or like a bot that's doing pretty well right now. You give it to them, they have a strong chance of victory. So I think both are making top 32,
Yeah.
regardless of 0-2 start.
Yeah, there is a rumor as for Lockjaw's third matchup, but I wouldn't confirm it as of now. Hypershock haven't even heard anything involving their third fight, but Hypershock, I think regardless if they win or lose their next fight, I think they're in. If they get a good quality victory, I think Will and Chris will both be dyeing their hair, even if it's a good loss that Hypershock potentially takes. But yeah, because Hypershock looked great in the Slammo fight. They looked great in this fight, including this was a quality opponent too. Lockjaw right now, I think if they lose their next fight, I think they're out. I don't think they're gonna make it. But right now, in terms of all the robots, there's 0 and 2 right now. Even a lot of the 0 and 1 robots, I think Lockjaw is in the best shape out of all of them right now because like they put up a heck of a fight against Copperhead, and, including you could debate that they should have won that fight because of the point that Pory pointed out in that one. And then I'd call this a good quality victory too, because like Spin said, there were 3 wheels that Hypershock took some crucial damage to, and that could have turned the tables completely if they lost all those wheels and stuff. But and I think if Lockjaw goes 1 and 2, like if they get a great victory in their whatever their third fight is, I think Lockjaw's in and stuff. I think they'll likely
Yeah.
be at the top of my 1 and 2 list because I'll probably rank those when we get closer to the postseason as for which 1 and 2s I would accept first
Yeah.
between all the 1 and 2s. I did that last year. I'll probably do that again this season. But
That
yeah,
was
I think
fun.
you kind of get the idea there. And anything else on this one, or should we get to power rankings?
Power rankings.
Yep. All right. So now power rankings. Go ahead and set that up so it's better for viewers to view. And here are my power rankings. So yeah, Sawblaze and Uppercut remained at the top 2. Then I threw Rotator at number 3, rose up a few places. I think they've had 2 dominant and solid victories. Endgame hangs out at number 4. They dropped 1 spot, but their 2 victories so far have been rock solid. Then Hypershock skyrocketed up to the top 5 after that awesome victory over Lockjaw. Then Jackpot, Fusion, Shatter, Ribbot, Copperhead, Tantrum, Scorpios all follow that. Black Dragon dropped down to 13 and stuff after that loss to Rotator, but I think Black Dragon can definitely bounce back. P1 hangs out right below them, as do Whiplash, Mad Catter, Witch Doctor. Minotaur bounces up to the top 20 and stuff. They could possibly be a top 10 robot if they win their third fight, whoever that is, and before they proceed to win the giant nut and stuff. So, yep. Then Blacksmith up there, Lucky top 20 right now, in a great place. Yeti hovers right below them, rose up into the notables from the notable contender spot as well. Oh, is Lucky to this one. Valkyrie and Gigabyte follow. Defender is now in the top 32 after that victory over Riptide. Hydra hangs out right below, as does Claw Viper, Blip, Captain Shredder, Tombstone. Then Riptide hangs out there at 30 and stuff, dropping only 1 spot. But if they win their next fight, they'll go up at least a few spots. Then Bloodsport hangs out down below them. Then Deep Six, who's barely in the top 32 right now after that loss. Then the notable contenders section, Retrograde, whom we'll probably see their second fight within the next few episodes, assuming they got all 3 fights. Then Dragon Slayer, Gruff, and Mammoth all follow that. Hijinks is in the notable contenders spot right now, and if I had a 6th spot, Lockjaw would actually be right below that, and so on right now because they were originally in there until I got to the Deep Six and well, no, not the Deep Six and Smee matchup. I think it was actually the Defender and Riptide fight, but yeah, you get the idea. So, do you 3 want to trash talk anything you want to trash talk about?
Why is Copperhead higher than Tantrum?
Well, I liked Copperhead's victory over Lockjaw at that one, like the domination in that one, including I think their strength of schedule has been better than Tantrum so far.
Yeah, but But then how is Ribot higher than Tantrum?
Because it's a better robot.
Like the quality of wins definitely were not as good, but I felt they also had the domination feature, or that Copperhead kind of had and stuff. But I felt Tantrum was definitely dominant in their two fights, but they were on the ropes for part of the second one, and
Yeah.
that's something I took into consideration.
I have a
Secondly,
problem. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
you can go spin.
I have a problem with Dragon Slayer. I don't. This is like you look at the bots below it. Hydrinks. That was a close decision, but it still was nasty. It did nasty damage in that fight. You look at Mammoth. It lost to Tombstone pretty poorly, but to be fair, it's
2-1.
Tombstone. But also manhandled Hydrinks. It was also such a big upset because design disadvantage. I'm not gonna talk about growth, but Dragon Slayer's win against not impressive at all. It was impressive a little bit, but he got one good hit, and it was just controlled the whole fight. I don't understand. What?
I
Eat
like
one
the
of the-
damage Dragon Slayer did to Duck's beak in that
It
one.
ripped
Like
the top of the beak. That was it.
It beat what?
I have two
it
things
ripped
I
the-
want to say.
it had
It
some.
beat-
It did have
what-
some other nice hits on that Duck fight, which is why I barely have them in here right now. All right,
I have a second thing. Then Pory can say
we'll go
his
civilian
too.
next, and then Pory can
Okay,
go ahead.
How is Tombstone higher than Riptide?
Basically, like Riptide's win was against a good quality opponent, but we didn't really get to see how much. Basically, both of those two didn't have they weren't the most impressive victories in my opinion, because Tombstone got a bunch of destruction in, but then they lost drive on one side. Riptide got some awesome hits in, but then it was a little too quick for me, even though it was a good quality opponent and stuff. I'd barely have Tombstone ahead, but I could definitely see the argument. You make a really fair point there, Civilian.
Okay, so I have two things I want to say. You know who would beat Smee?
That's
Yes.
true.
Yeah.
And you know who would beat Hypershock?
No, get out.
I disagree.
No.
Yeah.
Disagree.
Yes. Yes.
Pory,
Okay, but otherwise, as far as I agree with the Spin Doctor on the Dragon Slayer thing, but it's your list, it's cool. Ribot going all the way, I respect that. Yeah, let's see. Valkyrie might be a little high just because
Valkyrie's a bit too high for my taste.
because Triple Crown was kind of a free win.
I also
But it
took
is what it is.
I felt the performance they had in P1 in the first half of that fight was great. And that's kind of what moved Valkyrie above Gigabyte Defender, Hydra, and some others on my tier list here. And yeah, that's my case for why I have
where's
Valkyrie there.
Deadlift on your list?
Deadlift would probably be. They probably wouldn't be that much below Lockjaw because they did have a satisfying victory. I'd say 2 to 3 more spots below it.
All right,
Why is I have one more. Why is Lucky lower than Blacksmith?
Lucky. Basically, it's kind of like the domination Tantrum had in the last 3 quarters of that and stuff. Because Blacksmith, they had some impressive stuff in the free shipping fight, including the Shatter fight. They might have lost their weapon relatively early in that one, but the performance they had following that and stuff, all the control and aggression moments they did have on Shatter there is kind of what propelled that one for me. So. But that's another one where you make an excellent case as for why it should be the other way around, and I completely understand that. So, all right, let's go ahead and get on to you three's tier list. All right, here we go. All 3 of you. I don't care who goes first.
I can do mine last because I guess it was a ride for you guys to make fun of me all the time.
Okay, I'll do one. Yeah, this is my list. Yeah. Thank you.
Oh God, Pory.
What?
Why is Rotator higher than Endgame?
That one I can understand.
Because-
I can understand
okay.
that one.
Okay,
Higher on mine, too.
Rotator is higher than Endgame because Endgame versus Hydra, while it was a good win, it wasn't a great win. Meanwhile, both of Rotator's wins were great wins. Rotator was destructive and dominant and sleek and gold and it's doing better than Endgame. And Rotator should have beaten Endgame last season. So
Why is Uppercut lower than Tantrum, Ribot, Jackpot, and Hypershock?
because it lost drive in one side in the free shipping fight.
I got 2 questions myself.
Okay.
Why Copperhead at 22 and not higher and stuff?
Why is Copperhead this low? Why is
I
I want to hear your case with that one.
I don't know why I did that. You got me
That's
there.
fair. That's fair
That
enough.
said, Copperhead is definitely not mega high because well, for one, it's only had one fight so far. For two, the Lockjaw fight was a very close fight, so there's also that. That said, it should probably be higher. It should probably be around like say 17.
Oh God, Spin. Although
Like I would say
Pory,
17.
That's fair.
although Pory, shout out to you for who put Lockjaw in 32, same as me. Got to give you credit there.
And then my other question is, why is Lockjaw in your top 32 over Witch Doctor?
Because Witch Doctor's only win was to what I feel is the worst robot in the field this season, and they got completely obliterated by Endgame. Meanwhile, Lockjaw had good losses in both of its fights. It's very close. It's very close, and even though Witch Doctor is getting a free win next round, if Lockjaw doesn't win its next fight, then Witch Doctor will be above it. But
how is Tombstone higher than Blacksmith and Minotaur?
Well, because Minotaur got a free win against Dragon Slayer, and Blacksmith's win was a very, very close decision. Although there's an argument, Tombstone could very well be lower. That is fair.
Okay. I have a question. Captain Shredderator. Why above? Like, there's a couple bots that are above. I don't understand why they're above. For one, Hydra and Copperhead.
Pory.
I don't know. Because Captain Shredderator is more frog-like than Hydra and Copperhead.
Pory, why is Gigabyte
in America? Okay, yeah, I see
it. Why is Gigabyte lower than Witch Doctor, Lockjaw, free shipping, Bloodsport, Valkyrie, Minotaur?
Why? Because I wing these lists because Green and QWERTY are like, give me power rankings. I'm not a power ranking guy, so I just
realize you sent me those power rankings before I even made the announcement, right? You can remove me from that thing.
Yeah, but QWERTY dogs me about them anyway, so I do
understand
them
and stuff based off of what I've
So
heard.
I just send them to you. You know, my power rankings are always going to be flawed because I just kind of like wing it. The top like 10 or so are the real ones that matter, I feel. The stuff below it, it's anyone's fucking guess. It's kind of coherent.
Spin, you want to go now? Because I swear to God, I'm going to have some fun with this one.
Okay, so Subblaze, Fusion, I put it way too high. I don't know what was happening there. I made mistakes in the heat of passion. Okay. Rotator, and then Hypershock. Whiplash, and then Endgame. I have some strong takes on Endgame. Okay. Uppercut, Ribot, Scorpios, Shatter, Mad Catter, Jackpot, Tantrum, Copperhead, Black Dragon, Minotaur, Hydra, P1, Defender, Mammoth, Hijinks Split, Blacksmith Yeti, Riptide, Gigabyte, Shredderator, Gruff, Free Shipping, Tombstone, Witch Doctor, Valkyrie. For notables, Lucky, Bloodsport, Deep Six, Retrograde, and Lockjaw.
Alright, I'll say 2 questions each, and then we'll get to civilian arcs.
Okay.
Your 2 questions.
Alright, yes, I got two in mind here. Why Hijinks at 21?
Yo, why is hijinks so
Oh,
high?
sorry. I like its Kraken win. It was really destructive. I'm not sure what happened in its Mammoth win. I don't know if that was just Mammoth doing Mammoth things
It
or
was a
it was
bolt
just
issue.
wrong.
Yeah, there was hijinks.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I don't really rank it lower because of an issue like that. And it disabled the drive and weapon on Kraken. Even if it was a narrow decision, it wasn't really active. That was more so because it was just designed to be not well on its upside, not well upside down, not just Kraken doing stuff. It just got stuck like that. I don't really count that against it.
Yeah, that's a very fair point, Spin. And then the other one is free shipping at 29. Well, there's 0 and 2. Why do you have free shipping there? Out of curiosity, I want to hear your case.
Why the highest 0 and 2? I forgot. But so I just think they're really impressive. So in the blacksmith fight, that was a really close fight. All the judges went 5 and 6. You know, I think it could be argued that they win, even though I disagree. And in the uppercut fight, I just think they could have won it had something not gone the way it did. Because Uppercut's drive broke. They were crab walking near the end. What happened was they screwed themselves by getting stuck on the wall. If they just drove in a different direction or they didn't get stuck like that, they could have won. And I rank it higher because of that.
That's another fair case, man. All right, Pory and Civilian. Either of you two wanna ask Spin
you
some
go
stuff?
first.
Yeah, I actually have a response. I actually have an answer for why I ranked Gigabyte lower than Shredderator. Um, I should have ranked Gigabyte a little bit higher, but Shredderator's win was a brutal slaughter of Tombstone. Meanwhile, Gigabyte's win was Captain Shredderator didn't work. Thank you.
Very true.
And as for Spin's list, why is Ribot not number 1?
Because
Okay,
it's
so you're
not
gonna
good.
ask that.
now. You see, the thing with Ribot is, although its wins were
Shit.
impressive, you're facing a rookie having just being its first fight. Even if that is a well experienced team, that is still a rookie. And Overhaul is Overhaul.
Okay, fair. Next question: why is Mad Catter above Jackpot and Tantrum?
Okay, for Tantrum, it lost its weapon against Malice. It was controlling that fight 100%. It was gonna win even without the weapon. But losing a weapon to a opponent you were controlling so well is just something I rank low. Also its Yeti win was just fantastic. You know, it was just brutally picking apart that bot. As for Jackpot, it just kind of not doing so hot against defender is one thing. Like it wasn't fault of Jackpot. I got stuck on a chain, but like it just didn't really have as much bite. It doesn't have much power. It doesn't really isn't much of a spectacle compared to what Mad Catter did to Yeti. And even though it is 2-0, its Malice win isn't as much of a spectacle as either. Because like I'm taking account like the power of the weapon, just how it did, the quality of its win too. Malice was a high quality win, but Malice is also 2-0, and it did also lose weapon in that match.
Malice is 2 and 0.
Okay.
It's Jackpot's 2-0. Even though
I think he's
Catter
accidentally
lost
said Malice is 2 and 0.
Oh, it's Malice is 0-2.
Okay,
don't worry
so
about it.
I have one more question real quick. Why isn't Deadlift on your top list?
Because it sucks.
Shut up.
You see the thing with Deadlift is it had a shot
Sucks.
at taking the fight and it squandered it.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay,
why
do you think Deadlift is neat?
Sorry, say again.
Do you think Deadlift is neat?
It is very neat. I love that.
Okay,
I love
you're
that.
very.
I
you're
think
very,
it's neat
you're very
too, but I
based.
don't think it's as neat as Jackpot.
Okay,
Banned.
you already explained fusion, so fine. But why is Whiplash higher than Endgame, Uppercut, Ribot, Scorpio, Shatter, Mad Catter, Jackpot, and Tantrum?
Okay, I'm gonna take this one at a time. You see, Whiplash had one good win against Bloodsport. Bloodsport was actually performing well in that fight, and then it just kind of flipped on the shelf. I would admit, Whiplash is a little high, but I don't want to rank Endgame too high because first fight not impressive at all. Second fight, it was really impressive, but like Witch Doctor losing its weapon was such a big thing. But I'm not too sure how much of that is Endgame and how much of that is just Witch Doctor having problems this season. Uppercut Blue's ESCs. Like it was something was wrong in that second fight. Something went wrong there. Is crab walking, and in its first fight, it was really impressive. But I do like want to take note that Gigabyte was just did a driving error, and that kind of gave Uppercut a bit of an edge there in the win. But Uppercut should be higher, I will admit. What was the other one?
Second question is, why is Tombstone higher than Witch Doctor, Valkyrie, Lucky, and yeah?
Okay, so where's Tombstone right now? I forgot.
30.
um, 29? Well, it's above
It's at 30.
Valkyrie, because Valkyrie's win was triple crown, huh?
Pace.
Witch Doctor is lower because Duck, and it was just completely destroyed by Endgame. And Lucky, I don't think was very impressive in his first fight. I'll be honest. Like, it got that one good flip, it high centered it, but Tantrum was get off, and as soon as Tantrum got off, Lucky had no shot.
All right,
Fair
so
enough.
now it's time for
Let's go ahead and
for
get on
my
the
list.
civs.
my list. You have until my clock hits 10:20 to make fun of my list. Oh.
We're probably not going to make fun of it for that long.
I have.
I'll say 5 minutes. We'll make fun
Claw
of him.
Viper 17. What?
Okay.
Okay, so Claw Viper, this is... Okay, so what I do is I grade the robot's performances in each fight. So I think I gave Claw Viper like a B- going into it. I didn't update it at all because it didn't have a second fight. Whereas you got like bots that are now 1-1 that I've given like a C+ to a mid C now. Examples such as Witch Doctor, Riptide, Gigabyte. Yeah.
I got one here.
What?
Why are Black Dragon and Minotaur in the 30s?
Because Minotaur did little to nothing in the Sawblaze fight and then got the biggest gimme in human history. And Black Dragon never impressed me a single time in its 2 fights.
There's another Minotaur fight that's like the biggest gimme in Battlebots history. I'm just saying.
Okay, I have a question. Why isn't deadlift in your top 32?
Because I like making fun of your robots.
Okay, one other thing. I'm gonna give you props for the first time ever. Shout out to you for putting Pain Train in the notables. Based.
You're welcome.
That is true. He did put Pain Train
Pain
in
Train
there.
didn't even make the notables in yours.
Well, that's
yeah,
why
'cause
he's
they're gonna
giving.
make-
That's why
they're
he's
gonna make
giving
the top
civilian
4.
props for it.
Yeah, Civilian's more based than I am.
So why is Malice and Lockjaw already was talked about by Pory, but
That was my second question.
yeah,
why
why is
is Malice
Malice in
on
your
the
top 32?
You guys can't really bitch about Malice anymore. You already did that last week, and Malice
Okay.
hasn't had
Well,
a
we'll
third fight
continue.
yet, so.
Why
No,
is
I
why
didn't
is
give it a
Glitch higher than Black Dragon?
Basically, Glitch's weapon has impressed me more than Black Dragon's did. Although
It's barely moved.
I gave Glitch. I'm pretty sure I gave Glitch a C+ going into the Ghost Raptor fight, while I gave Black Dragon after the Rotator fight a mid C.
What?
So okay.
What?
What? What?
I don't want to hear it. I don't want to.
Glitch is literally struggling to move.
Yeah, 'cause, like,
and-
3 times Glitch almost got counted out in that fight with Ghost Raptor, and would have been if Ghost Raptor didn't give them the push needed to allow them to move again.
Bro, I love Glitch. I want them to succeed, but I mean, Black Dragon kicked Ice Wave's ass, and it held up very well in the Rotator fight. Meanwhile, Glitch struggled to beat Ghost Raptor. I mean, they're gonna beat Hydra later. Let's be real, but you know, it'll happen. It'll happen.
Yes, it will happen. Hydra's
will
gonna go
happen.
1 and 2.
What else do you
Based.
guys have?
Can I say my second question real quick?
Yep, Go
Yes.
ahead.
So, why is Witch Doctor so high? It beat Duck after losing its weapon.
He's
Okay,
biased.
And it
okay,
was
so
beaten by
going
Endgame so spectacularly.
Okay, so going into the duck fight, after the duck fight, I'm pretty sure I gave it a B- in its performance. 'Cause the weapon shots were impressive, but you know, the weapon did die after a while, so yeah, I gave it a B-.
What?
After that, I gave it. Pretty sure I actually kept it at B minus. I don't know, cause I don't remember, because Green doesn't like to share my gradings into the podcast
It's more
world.
like time reasons because I'm typically last minute towards setting these up and so on.
Witch Doctor is driving. I'd probably say it. I definitely agree that Witch Doctor is higher than most of these. I wouldn't
Can't.
say
Oh, there we go. Now you're back.
I wouldn't say Endgame impress. I wouldn't say the Endgame fight impressed me, but it did have some good moments. So I do feel that it deserves to be ranked over bots like Gigabyte, Valkyrie, Blip, Lucky, Shredderator, Yeti, Glitch, Malice, Bloodsport, etc.
I have a question.
What?
Why is Blip above Lucky?
It's better.
No.
Basically, I feel like Lucky is slightly fact that Blade's weapon kind of broke on the wall, and
Siv, you literally
Yeah.
were saying like an hour ago, you were like, Lucky's a dark horse. Like, come
yeah,
on,
but
man.
that doesn't mean I'm gonna rank it over a bot that I find doing better.
What
than it.
over a bot that beat essentially a paperweight? Yeah, okay. Yeah, true.
You know?
A paperweight that beat Kraken.
Well, to be fair, Kraken should have won that fight. So
Yeah.
Alright, what else do you guys got?
Let's say 2 more questions and then we'll close out the podcast. And I'll let you two have it. Have them Pory and spin if you have any.
okay. My question is, remember that time you traded hijinks for Rampage because you thought
Beautiful.
Rampage was gonna do better?
Pory. Hey, Pory.
Yeah. What's
Talk
up, buddy?
Talk to me when you can finally beat fucking Black Dragon, eh?
Wow.
Talk to me when you can actually take on a fucking kitty.
Kitty.
Mad
What?
Catter.
Bro, we almost beat Mad Catter. What are you talking about?
Okay, Spin, what do you have for me?
I did not already ask my 2 questions. But okay, I'll say something else. I respect that Ghost Raptor major notables. I
Oh, yeah.
rate Ghost Raptor so high. I wish it was better.
Fuck that.
Yeah.
Fuck that. I was gonna let those two just have a question because I got one more question. Remember that time you
What?
got muted in Uda?
I don't want to hear it.
Oh
Look.
come on! I had to
was
do
funny.
that. It was
Same
funny, and
Oblivion.
I give you props for that, civilian. You deserve credit
Ob-
for that.
You
It was
deserve
funny.
credit for getting in trouble in a Discord server.
It was funny.
Oblivion's to blame for trying to have me like correct the mistakes he made in the
It
Uda
still doesn't
server.
make
I'm
it any less funny, though.
never doing anything Oblivion tells me to do again.
Okay, my next question is why do you think Oblivion ranks flippers so high?
Okay, so this is actually
Flipper
a very
simp.
funny story because I feel like during Oblivion probably had a very rough childhood
What?
where his dad
What?
flipped him off all the time.
What?
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 So he has Stockholm syndrome, and he
What does that have to do with anything? Civilian, there's something wrong with you.
What's wrong with you?
I must be. I'm curious what Spin is thinking in the background right now, knowing he muted himself.
I'm aware I'm muted. I just choose to die in silence.
Anyway, I think we're probably going to close this podcast out, especially after that comment right there. But yeah, thanks for checking out this podcast. Be sure to hit the like and subscribe button for more. The plan is to do another prediction podcast over episode 7 predictions as well as the usual episode review. Big thanks to Pory, Civilian, and Spin Doctor for coming in and joining me for this podcast. So yeah, and you'll find Pory and Civilian's channel links in the description. I don't think Spin has a YouTube channel, also can't really feature him and stuff. But But it's always nice to have Spin on the podcast because he's a great co-host to have here. So, yeah, thanks for checking this out, and I'll hopefully see you next time.